Hello, everyone. It's lovely being here. Of course, it's Thursday, first session today. Actually, there is going to be only one session. The next session is cancelled because of unavailability of Brother Ray. But it's lovely being here. This is a Christian channel. I already see a few brothers and sisters, including, of course, Sister Unique there. Really looking forward to Sister Cherokee also, her update, waiting for her. But lovely being here. It's a Christian channel, and in this session, we engage with people who follow Indian religions, Hinduism, Buddhism, Sikhism, Jainism, any of those. The intent is to really walk through some details, try and understand, have meaningful conversations, and also on a Friday to speak about Christianity. That is the intent. And so what we'll do is we'll pray quickly, comment things in God's presence, and get things going. Father, we come before your throne of grace. Lord, thank you for this time. Thank you for this evening. We pray, Lord, that through your Spirit, you might take care of today, take care of the conversations today. Ultimately, God, for people to understand who you are, especially the cross of our precious Lord Jesus Christ, for people to understand the cross, the meaning of the cross, the fact of forgiveness based on the shedding of our precious Lord Jesus' blood on the cross on our behalfs, and receiving salvation from there on. Lord, help us, we pray. Help us have meaningful conversations. Please bring people who follow Indian religions to the stream for us to have meaningful conversations. Common all things in your hands. Bless you. Give you thanks in Jesus' precious name. Amen. Amen. Hallelujah. Praise you, Lord. It's lovely to see a number of people there. So yeah, let's get the admin reminder from Sister Unique there. I see a number of comments, of course, from the man, Amit, Ebilson, and so on, Sedge. It's lovely to see all of you in the chat. Of course, Rikosi also with his complaints about yesterday. But today the stream is on Indian religions. And by that, what I mean is religions that are claimed to have their origin in India, whether it's Hinduism, Sikhism, Jainism, Buddhism, those sorts of religions. The man, I think I might even remember you from one of the comments from a few months ago in one of the videos. So please, if you want to share some details, of course we'll be praying for you. But if you want to share some details as to where you are, if you need some help in your walk with God, most interested in having a Zoom conversation, a private conversation with you, please email for that. It'll be lovely to catch up with you. But anyway, so we want to focus on Indian religions today. Of course, I am a Christian. My teammates, both who show up on the panel, and also the Sister Unique and Sister Cherokee who man the live chat, are Christians. We believe, and various other brothers and sisters who are in the chat right now, we are Christians. We believe in the fact that Jesus is the true God. The triune God represented in Jesus is the only God. He is the creator, and therefore he has the plan for us to have to reach him, to be with him in eternity. Only through him we can be saved. Only through the precious cross of Jesus Christ we can be saved. So that is the message we bring to the table. But of course, we want to have a meaningful conversation with people who follow Indian religions, to arrive at that conclusion. So what the way it's structured is, today we can discuss about your religion, try and get to the bottom of some details, and essentially roughly understand that what are seen to be religions that started in India aren't really representative of the creator. So we'll do that today. And tomorrow we'll talk about Christianity, where you can bring questions to the table and we'll establish that Christianity, Jesus Christ, is ultimately God. And so that's the way it's structured. Julian Kurz, willing to have a conversation. I don't want to use the term debate. Willing to have a conversation with your teacher. So please bring your teacher tomorrow. Of course, the time, 8 p.m. London time. Please bring your teacher tomorrow, and we can set up maybe 30 minutes or something to have a conversation, critically evaluating your teacher's view. So that's, yeah, please, we'll work. I mean, I don't want to use the term debate. It's certainly not a formal debate, but we can have a conversation. So please bring him tomorrow. Okay, cool. Thank you much. Now, if any one of you is a Hindu or someone who follows any other Indian religion, Buddhism, Jainism, Sikhism, most welcome to join the stream for us to engage in a conversation. Let me get the link up. The link should be at the top of the live chat as a clickable. So you should be able to click at the top and you should be here. You should also see the link right now on the screen. Let me also get the weekly schedule scrolling through for everyone's awareness. Mondays, unbiblical quote unquote churches, Roman Catholicism, Eastern Orthodoxy, and all those sorts of stuff. Tuesdays, Judaism of different flavors. Wednesdays, Islam. Thursdays, first session, Indian religions. Second session, which we don't have this today, is normally on atheism and agnosticism. And Fridays, it's really answering questions on Christianity. So that's the schedule for the week. If there is any Hindu or someone who is a Buddhist or anyone who follows, who is not a Christian, who wants to engage in a conversation, most welcome to join. There's someone already here. Let me bring the gentleman on the stage. Hello, Prakash. How are you doing? Prakash, I can't hear you.
Hello.
Hello. Can you,
Yes. Hello.
how are you doing?
Sorry. It's, hi.
How are you doing?
Yeah. Hi, Arul.
Okay. Are you
Hello.
a Hindu or something, or what's your worldview?
Hello. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Prakash. I don't know if you are able to hear me. Maybe you're not hearing me properly.
Okay. No, it is echoing for me.
Okay.
Sorry, it's echoing. Maybe this I'm not used to this stream.
If you disconnect yourself,
I think I should disconnect from
YouTube.
Yeah.
Only StreamYard, and it'll work.
Okay. One moment.
Sure.
Oh, okay. I think is now, it fine now?
How is it right now?
Yeah. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. No problem. I can hear you.
Yeah, I was I see you a lot on from that park. What is that park called?
Hyde Park.
Yeah, Speaker's Corner. So that is how I know about you. Even now, I was just watching those videos.
Okay.
On regular basis, I watch. Actually, yeah, I just accidentally clicked on the stream and came into it. I'm a Christian,
Oh, you are a
so
Christian.
apologies.
Okay. No problem.
Apologies.
No problem at
Very
all.
sorry.
No, no, no,
Okay.
don't worry. No problem. It's lovely speaking to you briefly, Prakash. In that case, I'll let you go because there are a couple of other gentlemen who are
Yeah,
waiting.
absolutely. Yeah,
But thank you
sorry.
much. It's lovely to say a quick hello to you. Lovely saying a
Yeah,
quick
thank
hello.
you.
God's
Thank you.
blessings.
Bye
Here.
bye.
Bye
Thank
bye. Bye bye. Hello, Amit. How are you doing? Hello, Amit. Amit, I can't hear you. Not sure if you're able to hear, but I can't hear you. Hello. Amit can't hear you. Not sure what the problem is, but if you want to try leaving the stream and returning, perhaps the audio might work, but I can't hear you right now at all. But anyway, so cool. Anyone with an Indian religion as the worldview, for example, Hinduism, Sikhism, Buddhism, Jainism, one of these, you're most welcome to join the stream for us to have a meaningful conversation. Of course, I am a Christian. Now let me put it this way. While we await someone to join, Amit has jumped off, and there was another gentleman who was in the stream who was jumped off. Banu Pratap Singh. I saw you briefly here on the stream, but not sure why you have jumped off. But if you want to have a conversation, it'd be lovely to have you back. Now, just to go through some details, let's put it this way, dear friends who follow any of the Indian religions. Ultimately, when we talk about religion, we are trying to work out what reveals the plan of the creator, the ultimate creator. Okay, I have a couple of people who are here. JVR, how are you doing? Hello, JVR. You need to unmute yourself. JVR, did you want to have a voice conversation? If you wanted to have a voice conversation, you need to unmute yourself and speak. You can. Okay. Sorry, no problem. In that case, maybe what I'll do is I'll try and see. Amit, I see an Amit Kaushik who is in the backstage. JVR, in that case, perhaps, essentially, I'll remove you from the stage. You can. Okay, that's fine. Hello, Amit. How are you doing? Hello, Amit. Amit, you're on stage right now. How are you doing? Hello, Amit.
Hello.
How are you
Hello.
doing? Amit,
I'm
how are you doing?
fine. Can you listen? Hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear
Hello.
you now. I can hear you now.
Okay. Fine.
Fantastic.
So what basic concept in Hinduism about God is all about that? When what our view about Jesus is, the basic concept is that everybody is a part of God consciousness or God consciousness in itself, but we don't call it God. We, for simplicity, call it universal consciousness. So, for us, the Jesus is a person who had received enlightenment or achieved enlightenment. So we had realized that he is God, but we hold the belief that the same status is applicable for all humans on the earth, and sin is basically like it cannot be forgiven in Hinduism. It can be forgiven in a very rare case only if God wishes. That is what I want to say.
Amit, lovely to hear from you. Now, I hear what you're saying. Of course, I'm familiar with the different thoughts in Hinduism, so I hear what you're saying. But this is going to be my question. So, of course, you have a worldview. Clearly, you have a worldview. Yeah, this is how you see the world. This is how you see the Lord Jesus Christ. This is how you see everything else around you. The question I'd like to ask you is, how do you know if your worldview? How do you know that your worldview is true?
The see let us see the literature. In Hinduism we have Vedas and Upanishad, particularly Upanishad. There can be interpolations in books, and also we all accept all those things because they are very old things, but the common thought in Upanishad is the same concept of God, that there is a universal consciousness, and that consciousness is present in every human being, every living thing, particularly. Now, there people have been coming from time to time after Jesus who have told the same thing. Say there is a Sikhism in Hinduism. They also say the same thing. They have spoken it, and the problem here is that nowadays very few enlightened people there may be an enlightened person, but he is not in open those people who know these things. So this is our primary source of information from what concept of God is literature. Now somebody told me that this is what Jesus so the same status is applicable for Jesus also. Now, like Jesus performed the miracle of water converting into wine and all those things. Those things are done by siddhis. What we say in what we use word siddhis or something like that. This is our primary source of information.
So, your primary source of information are Upanishads, in your view, yeah. Now,
That is
shall
the
we?
concept of God. Yes,
Yeah,
correct.
shall we agree that the primary source of information has to be supernaturally authoritative? We need to have confidence. We need to have confidence that anything that we use as a primary source of information, we need to have the confidence that actually that source of information is aware about the creator. There are a number of claims in terms of worldviews. There are a number of competing worldviews, and for a worldview to be true, it has to come from the authoritative source, namely God himself, somehow. So explain to me, why do you think Upanishad comes from God?
No, no. In this manner, no, we will not be able to prove. In Upanishad, what when a person realizes God or gets enlightenment, he he writes it. Say Upanishad has been written by some rishi, so he has written what he saw in the state of enlightenment. So if you will say that there is an authority that has given a book, so that kind of stuff is people may believe, that people may not believe. That cannot be verified. That is the problem. It is a literature only. Yes.
So yeah, so you're saying Upanishads are written by enlightened people. Now the point is, let's say for example, you know one particular contributor to the to Upanishad. Let's say, yeah, if you know one of them, how do you know that that person is enlightened? How do you know that that person is speaking on behalf of God?
uh,
Anyone can claim
so
that.
no, that is correct question. If there is a, how do we know that concept of God given in Upanishad, or the rishi who wrote that Upanishad, he saw that he has written what he saw in that state of enlightenment is uh, kind of what we say theoretically, more or like theoretically we believe that theory of God has to be something like this. We have not seen ourselves like that because we have not received enlightenment.
So you
what
see the
we
problem
have
there.
what we have heard from say enlightened people, that Jesus became enlightened on cross, and he performed miracle and all those things we have heard from somebody.
Let's keep Jesus aside, because your ideas won't fit to Jesus. When you understand the historical Jesus, you can't just you can't just you can't I can't suddenly begin calling you a Christian. I can't. Yeah, I don't have the authority. Whether you are a Christian or not, you decide. I can't force you to be a Christian. Neither can you force Jesus to be an enlightened person, as if you can force him, as if who he is mainly defined by you. Who he is
Yeah, yeah.
understood in history. So let's not. So we'll talk about Jesus separately. So note. So in other words, your point is you are unable to verify, and that is important,
uh,
Amit, to understand. You are unable to verify. That's very important for you to understand. And you are unable to verify, and but even when you said you are unable to verify, you still went with the idea. This is how I can't remember the exact statement you used, but you said something like, we are unable to verify what the enlightened people have written. Actually,
right,
I,
because
I,
they have seen
whoa,
it, we have not seen it, because they have seen it and they have said it, but we don't know
let me
what they
let me
have
ask
seen,
you this.
because they,
Let me ask you this.
because they
How do you know?
just
How do you know they are enlightened?
because they have declared themselves through
I,
books
I
or
can I can come and declare that I
and
am God. I mean,
when they become enlightened, listen, it may be right, may be wrong what I am saying. When somebody gets enlightened and he declares, I am the truth, okay, I am the truth, and what we in Hindi say, I am that, I am that Tattvamasi. Now I cannot verify now. When we ask them what did you see in that state of enlightenment, they say it cannot be explained in words. It cannot be explained in literature actually. It is only a kind of signboard that I'm telling you, kind of signboard that is something like enlightenment. Like if you see this Chinese literature, Lao Tzu, and what Osho has spoken about, although they all say when a person becomes enlightenment, he can only show you a signboard, because God consciousness cannot be defined in literature. Literature cannot encompass that God consciousness. Yes.
but here is the problem. Here is the problem, Amit. Number one, you are unable to verify if someone has received enlightenment. You can't mere. I mean, there are plenty of fraudsters. Yeah, we know.
Correct,
Of
correct,
course.
fine.
Yeah, and therefore, just self declaration is clearly not sufficient. Especially when it comes to the most important thing in life, which is eternity, which is
Right,
you know
right, right.
in understanding who God is. And therefore you must actually be even more cautious. You can't just take anyone just because they're declared. So that's problem number one. You can't know if someone is enlightened or not. And number two, you are also saying very clearly, I completely understand that these enlightened individuals are saying, I can't even describe to you. Well, that should ring alarm bells to you. In other words, really, well, what is this enlightenment that you can't even describe? If you can't, I mean, if you ask me, for example, if you ask me, how did say, for example, I went to I see a huge waterfalls. I went to have a time off, a holiday, visiting a huge waterfall somewhere, and you ask me, oh, how did you feel? I can, of course, I can't holistically capture every little detail of what went through my heart in terms of feelings and so on, but I can, roughly describe, just to give you an indication. But if one, and that is in relation to maybe some natural scenery of some sort, or maybe a relationship of some sort, or some sort of an excitement in terms of an adventure ride of some sort, or maybe achieving
Huh,
something. Yeah,
right, right.
but even
I understand.
but the
Like you have seen a building, or you have went to New York. You say I have gone to New York. I have seen it with my eyes. Okay, so
and you are able to
people
describe
describe it like, and you are
the
able
the
to
the,
describe New York City, right?
the,
Because you have seen
the,
it,
the point
and
is, yeah, but the point is, with enlightenment, so number one, you are unable to verify, we are unable to verify. And number two is that they are saying that they can't even describe, which is ridiculous. Because if it is only to the extent that they can't even describe, then give up. If I told you, hey, I have this wonderful thing that I want to share with you. Now you ask me, please share, please describe. I say, I can't even describe. I don't even have, I can't even start. Then you know what I have? Nothing. If I can't describe
I,
something, it's
now
nothing.
that is the problem in this all this system. The only thing they say, it is a state of bliss kind of thing. What you see,
Well,
the only
I
word
mean,
they huh.
Amit, I don't know if you know. I mean, I personally haven't, but maybe you might not have. People who take drugs, they're in a state of bliss
Right,
in their mind.
right, right,
People who
right,
are
right,
into alcohol, people who are into all sorts of addictions claim. I mean, what is this bliss? I mean, if it is just a state of some sort of a um, some sort of
ecstasy or
a
some kind of
ecstasy of some sort, it happens through all sorts of different reasons. So that in itself is not sufficient. That first of all, you can't verify. It's merely again a claim. No one can
right.
verify. And second of all, even with taking the claim seriously, the problem is, well, people who are taking drugs are saying they have ecstasy. So what is the point? And number three is, merely being ecstatic doesn't mean you have the truth, the ultimate truth from God. You see what I'm saying? This is a
Yeah,
problematic.
I understand.
This is a
Right.
problematic idea from multiple perspectives, Amit, and I really want to be clear about this. And this is where, of course, you sound like a very reasonable man. Um, People who are
No,
unreasonable,
I value Christian people who talk. At least they talk very decently, as
hmm,
compared to if we go to some other groups. When we go to
yeah,
talk there, it's like poison in somebody's mind. More. But when we talk to Christians, it
yeah,
is a very decent talk. It is, at least it is whether anybody agrees with anybody's thought or not. But one basic thing is, it's a very decent talk. At least
yeah,
it is some manner talk, what we say, discipline talk, at least,
yeah.
what
So
we
we
can
can
agree on.
respectfully exchange information. So that is the key part, Amit. And here is where, so in other words, this what you've described, of course, is one aspect of what is normally described as Sanatan Dharma. The point is very simply that there is no way of verifying the validity or the authority of either the literature or the person or people who contributed to some set of literature at all. We are merely betting your life based on some set of people who are self declaring themselves to be some superior source of
Enlightened.
information. Yeah.
Right.
And it's not just that. There are multiple problems. It's not just that there is no positive evidence to present. It is also that there are multiple holes in the argument. Multiple holes in the
Okay.
argument. For example, if we of course, within reason, if we go and meet an enlightened person and say, hey, you are an enlightened person, so clearly you claim to be now God in some way, shape, or form. You are now united with the unity, ultimate unity. Then please tell me, where is my mother right now? Would they be able to say, how old I am? Do you know when I was born? All sorts of, ultimately the point I'm trying to make is God is all knowing. um,
Right.
whatever the whatever the ultimate truth is, it is all knowing. And you can't just claim, not just not provide positive evidence, but also show with all sorts of these negative evidence points. Like, clearly, have you ever come across someone who is able to demonstrate omniscience in some way, shape, or form?
These are bit higher subjects. I will tell you. I have met one person. Now, the thing is, what you say, if we ask something to it, they have defined self into three, four parts. Say what basically they define God is like consciousness, universal consciousness is everywhere. It is east, west, north, south, everywhere, and it is inside you. If you are going to find it, you will find it within you. Now they say that first, you when you go inside, there will be unconscious self, universal unconscious self. So it's a dimension or stage there. When you reach there in meditation, you will get information of all the persons that have existed on this earth. You can get that information present, and as well as if some events are fixed in future, that information can be gathered from it. After that comes the super consciousness, the god consciousness, whatever, which is a state of bliss. This is what they say if you want to know. Then there
I
is other
know.
some techniques. There is some other technique. If the student is fit, they can transfer energy to him for 5 seconds, and he can actually see that he is the universal consciousness behind this universe. These are yogic practices.
I
If a true enlightened master should be able to demonstrate these two things.
Yes. So the point is, Amit, I completely understand. People are claiming that you can, you can, you can. The question is, has anyone? Very simply, Amit, let me put it this way. Um, if anyone claims to have some sort of, stage 2 or stage 3 awareness, where he's united with this ultimate consciousness, ultimately God consciousness or whatnot, the point is, it can be demonstrated. It's very simple. It can be demonstrated. For example, you can very simply ask. Of course, it needs to be a proper rigorous scrutiny. Also, you can't just go with some couple of his fellow mates. I don't know if you know, there are plenty of these gurus who have been caught red-handed playing all sorts of different tricks.
Right, right.
Um,
They are
yeah,
there are most of them are frauds. Those
most.
who are true in nature, they generally don't come in media. They prefer to live in isolation
But my
because they don't
point is
want
this.
any. They don't want anything from anybody.
But here
Their
is the
journey is
point, Amit.
complete.
Has there been
Yes.
ever anyone who has been scrutinized enough that he has awareness of, let's say, in what you describe, the second level of connected with the universal consciousness? If you're connected with that, you should be able to say, who is living next door to me, where I am living, how old I am, and all these sorts of information. Has there been anyone who has been scrutinized to this extent and has been established to be of that level of awareness?
No, no one has been scrutinized, or I have not read about any people, or this is scrutiny in papers. Maybe there may not be there. The
Yeah,
thing what I, that scrutiny, the problem, maybe let us say in recent times, I don't know scrutiny if it has been done or not.
it's very needed. Anyone can claim anything. Yeah. Of course, if you ask them what this bliss is, they're only able to say it's just bliss and unable to describe any further. And that in itself is problematic. But we shouldn't let them go scot free. We should then, okay, fine, bliss you are unable to describe, but describe to me your awareness. Describe to me your awareness, your insight, your knowledge. So you can people have to be scrutinized. Okay, so tell me, where do I live, what my name is, and so on. Of course we need to have a proper scrutiny. We don't want people to cheat us by having their own goons.
Right, right. If may tomorrow somebody will claim, and then we will scrutinize him if he's saying right scientifically. See, there
the
was that father of psychology, that Sigmund Freud. He also took some ideas like this, that unconscious self is there and all those things. But the problem is he could not see it. So, so in psychology, he said there is something called as unconscious self. But in
unconscious
Eastern
what?
thought, unconscious, like a human has a conscious self as well as unconscious mind. In psychology, it is a subject of unconscious.
Yeah,
Uh,
I completely understand. Essentially the point very simply is human nature is complex. It's not unique. That's not a proof for Sanatan Dharma in any shape or form. Not at all. No. The complexity of human nature is is uh, is understood even in Christian thought. So that's not necessarily talking merely about That's not justifying Hinduism or Sanatan Dharma in any shape or form. So my point, Amit, is ultimately this. So far, what I'm saying is, stand alone. If you explore Hinduism, these are not the only problems, by the way. There are many other
Okay.
problems. You can ask the question as to, when someone is writing something, you can ask the question as to whether they had any incentive in this world to write what they wrote. Any incentive which is not the obvious stated incentive. And this is where many of what you are suggesting would fall apart, because essentially contributors to Upanishad or contributors to various other similar literature had many things to gain, from their literature, including, for example, a guru has. A guru might otherwise have no source of revenue, but suddenly now he has 1,000 students, and he has a million
Right,
dollars.
I can understand all those things.
Yeah. So the
Okay.
in other words, it's a very slippery slope, Amit. And may I please comment to you just one last thought, and then I'll move on, which is that here is where, when you, I think earlier, I can't remember exactly what you said, but when you earlier said roughly something like, isn't every worldview similar, where you can't verify? I think something like that. You indicate, I think, that every worldview is similar, perhaps, where there is
Yeah,
no
right.
verification.
Like what Lao Tzu or Chinese thought is saying. Lao Tzu
Mm,
particular. What Buddhism is saying, we about Buddha is that he has to final enlightenment is pending with him. He has to take one more birth. What I have heard. And Eastern, if you same thing we hold Jesus was completely enlightened person, no doubt about it. And
I get.
worldview, maybe it is similar to more pagans of Europe. I have not read more literature about pagans, but
I
it can relate to that thing.
Yeah. What I can say, Amit, is very honestly, investigating the patterns of origin of various religions, various religious thought, I can genuinely say that only in Christianity, only in Jesus Christ or the biblical worldview, you have verifiable revelation, verifiable. And I'll give you a simple, just a brief view, and then I'll invite you to maybe join the Friday stream, or maybe email, for us to take this further. Very simply, in Jesus Christ, fundamentally the point is, Jesus died and he came back alive in history, in human history. Like how you are part of human history today, and I am part of human history, and we are able to have a conversation. So if anyone asks me today, hey, is there this gentleman who called himself Amit who showed up in the stream and spoke to you? I can say yes. And of course, I can say at least there is one Amit who showed up. There's at least one person who called himself Amit Kaushik, showed up on the stream, and we had a conversation. I'm not sure if that's the one you have in mind, but at least one showed up in that manner. You see what I'm saying? Because we're part of history. Likewise, Jesus died in human history and he came back alive on the third day. And therefore, this particular aspect of his life, apart from various other aspects of Jesus's life, are available in human history for scrutiny.
Yeah,
Unlike
right.
unlike
That's true.
unscrutinizable claims, this is a scrutinizable, very, something that there is meat to chew. You can actually go through the details and see if it is true or not. And if it is
Correct.
true, then you can say, hey, you know what? I here have a verifiable supernatural act. I know normally human beings can't die and come back alive, but this Jesus in history has died and come back alive, and therefore I can pay attention to him. You see, of course, you in your worldview, you use the term enlightened person. In Christian worldview, you can at least say, hey, this is someone who knows what he is talking about. He knows what happens after death because he was there, but he has returned.
Right.
He knows how to come back alive after dying. And so we can let him speak and explain to us who he is, what he has to say about death, and all those sorts of stuff. And of course, Jesus goes on to claim that he is God exclusively. And like I said earlier, he doesn't fit into the pattern of what you had for him earlier. That would be a serious injustice to historical records of Jesus. So may I please, Amit? I don't know. Are you based in
Okay.
India, Amit?
India.
Yeah, of course. Right now it's what 10 past 10 for you. So today you are able to join. The tomorrow stream is Christianity under scrutiny, where you can ask questions on the Christian history,
Oh,
and we can.
okay. I take your leave now. I have to go. Somebody is
Sure,
calling
sure.
me.
So, but can I please invite you to join tomorrow? But of course, it'll be a little bit later. It's 8 p.m. London time, which is uh, 8 p.m. is half past 12, 30 minutes past midnight India time. If you're able to join, that'll be lovely. If you're not able to join, then at the least, if you are able to email, I'll bring up my email address here. So this is my email address. If you're able to email this email to this email address, we can set up a Zoom conversation for some time in the future. Yeah.
Okay. Uh, okay. Arul Adal. Okay. I will.
Yeah.
Okay,
Uh,
sir.
at
I
least in
take
the
your leave.
description, there should be some email address. If you forget, in the description of this video, there should be some email address. And please, Amit, it'd be lovely to
Uh,
follow where we are left off.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Go- God's blessings to you. Lovely speaking to you today. Hello, Hemant. How are you doing?
Hi Arul, how are you doing
Hello.
today?
Yeah, by God's grace, okay. Please give me 1 second. Please give me 1 second. I
Of
see a
course.
number of people on the live chat, asking a few different questions and so on, or commenting. For everyone who is on the live chat who wants to join the stream, you're most welcome to join the stream. There's no one else apart from Hemant is of course on the stage right now, but apart from Hemant, there is no one else so far, and we have a little more than an hour to go. I normally spend about 15 minutes on each person, so we have some good time to spend. So at least four people or so can join from now. So if you want to join, it'll be lovely to have you on stage. Please, if you're not a Christian, if you're someone who follows any Indian religion, most welcome to join. Hemant, back to you.
Yeah, actually, I joined last time, you remember?
I can't remember. Please remind me.
Last Thursday, I joined in the last of the stream. Five,
Okay.
10 minutes left.
Oh,
And
I can't remember. I apologize.
I was
Can't.
trying to give you proof about Ram Setu.
Oh yeah, okay. So were you the one who was talking about the rock that the which is the light rocks and that sort of stuff,
Yeah,
the coral reef? Yeah. Um, cool. Yeah. Did you want to continue there, Hemant?
yeah, we can.
Yeah, sure.
Because
So
I wrote some things down about the Ram Setu.
sure. So yeah, well, let's get started. So I mean, let's spend about 15 minutes on that, and let's see
Okay,
how far we go with that. I mean, what I can do is I can bring up a web browser for you. So if you want me to display anything here for you to walk me through, ultimately what I'm looking at is, from what I remember, did you say Ramayana is about 15,000 years old or something like this?
yes.
Yeah. So ultimately I'm looking for information to justify that. That's my ultimate goal. So whichever way you want to take us there, that'll be lovely. Take your so yeah, please go ahead. I'll give you enough time, maybe 5 minutes, say 6 7 minutes, to make your initial case, maybe 10 minutes even, depending on how you're going, and then I'll try and critique your case.
Okay. So, can I start with a story
You
from the book?
can, yeah, absolutely. You can start anyway. Yeah.
So, I searched about Ramayan, and in the book there is a reference in Yuddha Kand, chapter 6, and in the sixth book, Yuddha Kand, chapter 21, page 48. Uh, in that, Valmiki is saying that Ram meditated 3 days on the seashore, and after that, the Varun Dev didn't listen to his request and didn't give him way for going. He asked Varun Dev. Varun Dev is basically Devta of sea god, we can say, like he controlled all the water bodies and everything according to Hindu scriptures. And after 3 days, when Varun Dev did not respond, he Rama called an astra, which can, uh, how do I explain? Rama, one second.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Rama called an arrow which could be used to dry up all the water. So then the Varun Dev came and requested him not to launch that arrow in water, because all the marines and marine life could die. So he asked Varun Dev that where should he launch his arrow then. So he pointed him to the north. In 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 the book, it says he asked him to point the arrow towards Durma Kulya, which is also known as desert of Maru, and in today's day it's called Malwar in Rajasthan. So it's a desert now. He launched that arrow in the north, in Rajasthan region, so it's called that. It's still a desert. uh, e- every side in the northeast, everywhere it's a green place is there, but in Rajasthan it's a desert. So according to the books, it's a desert because Ram launched that arrow to that direction. And uh, Varun Dev, the god of sea, suggested that there was a Vanar monkey named Nal, that was son of Vishwakarma. Vishwakarma, you know Vishwakarma?
I've heard the name.
You heard the name. Vishwakarma is also called as, he was a great constructor. He could have constructed anything. He was the best constructor of, you know. So he said that Null have the ability to build such a bridge that could float on the surface of water, and if Null builds it, I will hold the bridge up on the water. So that's how story goes. And the book mentions what things they used for building the bridge. They says that they used logs and blossoming trees and stones resembling mountains or peak of crags. All of this is mentioned in the Ramayana, Yuddha Kand, book 6, chapter 21, page 48 and 49, 50, 52. In four pages it's mentioned all of this information. And uh, one thing is also mentioned then, that how the bridge looked. The rishi says that it looked like constellation of Swati in space. There is a constellation in space named Swati. In Indian astrology, they refer to a constellation called Swati. So he mentioned it that it was constructed, a little arch was there from the it looked like Swati constellation. So all of this is mentioned in the book, and they referred this bridge as Setu Bandhan. They have also said this in the book that they constructed a bridge, and the bridge was constructed where they constructed. They have also written that it was constructed between Bharatvarsh and Lanka, which is Bharatvarsh is India and Lanka is modern today's day. It's Sri Lanka. And if we search in the Google, it's 48 kilometers long, and the Tamil Nadu tourism government website is there. They mentioned that it's 48-kilometer long and chain of natural limestones. So I searched on Google. Limestones don't float on water, but the theory says that they use stones and logs and everything, and the stones float on water. And still, the stones that float on water are available in Rameshwaram Mandir. And the bridge was completely seen before 1480, and then it submerged below the sea level. And according to the survey conducted by Madras University and Anna University, Ram Setu was uh, formed 18,400 years ago. So I am roughly saying it was 14,000 years or so, because I have one more proof from the book that it was 14,000 years old or something like that. And the study was funded by Indian National Center for Ocean Information Service in COIS, and geologists and archaeologists to support that this is a god-made bridge, not a natural formation. The geologist and archaeologist says that the sand is new. The sand is only 4,000 years old, and the rocks used in the building of this bridge are 7,000 over 7,000 years old to 18,000 years old. It's in between somewhere. I guess it's 14,000 years old because of the book. I have one more proof in the book. So, uh, and this study done by geologist and archaeologist was named Project Rameshwaram. And in Balakand, in the book, they stated that it was made between Bharatvarsh and Lanka.
Hemant,
Yes.
we need to be really serious right now.
Aren't we?
Please. Maybe, may not be. Let me put it this way, Hemant.
Yes.
What is preventing me today from writing the same storybook? I can write the same story today. Merely because there is a story like this. Why did you think it was written 15,000 years ago?
Because there are many more proof that it happened 14,000 years ago in the book.
But don't tell me many more. You haven't given any so far. I'll give you a simple example, Hemant. Here is where I said we need to be serious, and I'll give you a simple example. Today if I were to write a story, I can say, hey, I was standing here, and from here is through a stone, and essentially it went and landed in Thar Desert it landed in Rajasthan, and what was a land area with plenty of rivers suddenly dried. I can write a story today, and maybe 5,000 years from now, if we do have that much time left, people may think, oh, is this history, is this not history? I can advance any such idea. The point is,
But what do you think about the bridge? I provided you the
look, Adam's Bridge. Have you explored the detail of Adam's Bridge, Hemant?
yes.
It's called Adam's Bridge purely for religious purposes, not because it's a bridge, in the way we look at normal bridges. It's just a regular geologic structure,
And why do you say that?
because that's what, there's no evidence to suggest anything more than that.
I mentioned everything the research is done, and
Which research? Anna University. You said Anna University has done some research. What research is that? Shall
uh,
we find out what the details are from the research?
you don't find anything on the internet. You didn't find anything on the internet.
Or you want me to find something? Well, I can. I'm hoping that you have found something, but I can try and find out if you would like. So let's go. So Anna University Ram Setu research. I mean, this is of course a newspaper article. I mean, I don't see any. என்ன சொல்லுங்க? Nah. I don't know which research you have in mind. Hemant, you really need to get more details. I don't know which research you have in mind. This is not Anna.
Project.
Come again.
Search for Project Rameshwaram.
Project Rameshwaram. Institute for Ocean Management. Research projects completed. Bad choice of color there. That's the only. I don't know. Can I please recommend something, Hemant?
Yes.
Here is where you need to do the research. Yeah, you need to give me the information that you want me to bring up, and for me to bring that up. Very simple. I can tell you very simply something. I am from Tamil Nadu. I am from Tamil Nadu, and the Institute of Ocean Management in Anna University isn't far from where was very much accessible to me.
Okay.
And no one in Tamil Nadu remotely believes, or no scholar. There's no research done. I don't know if you're familiar with this idea. In Tamil Nadu, it's the Tamil Nadu government actually wants to build a build an ocean desalination project. I don't know if you're aware of this, around this area. It's a huge matter of controversy between Tamil Nadu government and the central government for a while.
Okay.
And very simply, the idea is that there is no evidence whatsoever that this is an artificial structure at all. At all. There's nothing about this which is artificial at all. You are right in that, you are right in that, I'd like to maybe dig up a little bit more, but you might be right in the sense of what kinds of rocks are there and that sort of stuff. But having said that, nothing exists there to an extent to indicate that this is an artificial bridge of any sort. If it had been, I can tell you, Hemant, I can tell you very honestly, guess what? If this is an artificial structure, I'll give you a huge business opportunity right now.
What?
Just arrange for sort of a uh, um, sea diving sort of business, tourism business, and this will be $1 billion business. I bet you, people across the world would actually pay to see this. It isn't that at all. It's just a submerged mountain. That's all it is.
What proof do you have that it's a submerged mountain?
Well, okay, let me put it this way. If I told you the river that is next to my home was something that I dug up myself and created, would you ask for proof for that? Would you ask for proof for someone else suggesting that it's a regular river?
I would ask proof that you dug it.
Yes. For if someone were to stand by that and say this looks like a regular river, would you ask for proof for that? You won't. To ask for a proof for a regular river showing up as a regular river would be insane, because we see rivers all over the place. So the point is, the structure that's found there, like I said earlier, is found in few different places in the world, and it's understood to be sort of an oceanographic, a geologic structure. No questions asked. If someone were to suggest that this is an artificial structure, that is when you need to provide evidence.
So, what do you think about the stones are older than the sand?
Doesn't mean much. Doesn't mean much at all.
How?
I mean, okay, so let's see.
If
Which stone?
I am
Mhm.
suggesting that if it's a natural thing, then the stones cannot be old. The sand should be old. How
So
the
let's which
light
stone, which sand? Please give me details. Can you give me details?
about
Which stone are you talking about, and which sand are you talking about?
uh, which is available currently at the Ram Setu at
Yeah, but
Ramesh.
which stones are you talking about, and which sand are you talking about?
I am talking about Tamil Nadu tourism site is there on Google. You can search
Yeah,
tourism.government.gov.
yeah, sure, yeah. What is there?
The second one.
And what is there? What information are you looking for here?
You can scroll down. So here they are saying that these are natural limestones. But if you see, limestones don't float on water. It's not a pumic stones. Pumic stones float on water, but limestones don't float.
Limestone shoals don't float.
Yes.
I mean, what is? I mean, nothing. What is floating here? Tell me. What is floating? Tell me, please. I don't understand what floating idea you have in your mind.
In Rameshwaram, there is a Rameshwar Mandir. Rameshwaram Mandir, there is a stone that floats on water. If you can search Rameshwaram Mandir, there is a still pictures of that stone.
But you need. Which stone are you talking about? Which is floating in the bridge?
The bridge is not complete now, so we can't see the stones floating. But at that time, I am saying that the stones were used and they float on water. And if you write about floating stones in Rameshwaram Mandir, you'll see the pictures.
I mean, okay. Do you see? I don't know if you're able to see this. Do you see this?
Because of typically of the government is saying that they are not pumic stones. You read just 5 minutes ago that they on the tourism website it says that they are not pumic stones. There was no volcano around Rameshwaram, if you know. So
I don't
how
know
they
why we're talking about now volcano. Where it
pumic?
comes?
You can search for pumic stones are made with the help of volcanic eruption. See the fourth line. These rocks are created from volcanic eruption and composed of tiny air bubbles. So there was no volcano around there. So how they brought pumic stones and they made a bridge? There was no volcano.
But there was no bridge also.
How, how can you say that there was no bridge?
I mean, where is the bridge? Hemant, I can't believe, I can't believe you're saying what you're saying. Hemant, where is the bridge? What do we have right now?
How can we have a 14,000-year-old bridge still? Will it
Well,
remain?
it doesn't matter. But the point, well, just because there can't be a 14,000 years old bridge, do you want to just believe in fantasy? You can't.
It's not a.
Unless there is.
So I can talk. Can I talk about other proof?
No, our time. The alarm that you might have heard earlier is a time limit that I had. There are a few other people, Hemant. Hemant, long story short, I mean, let me put it this way, Hemant. If I
Okay.
could ask you, please, if I could ask you to put on a special hat on you, yeah, the
Yeah.
special hat is you need to be thinking, hey, any guy could have written some fantasy story and would want me to believe it to be true, a true account of history. How do I differentiate between an attempt to write some fictional story and making it appear to be true versus truth? How does one distinguish? Merely because someone claims something, it doesn't become true. So you need to ask, what should I find in in relation to Ramayana? What should I have to, beyond reasonable doubt, establish Ramayana is supernatural in origin, in the way it comes across? You need to ask that question. It's very important.
That how it's supernatural.
Well, I mean, let's put it this way.
Okay.
There is the Vanara army, yeah?
Yeah.
Do we have any evidence for a Vanara army? Of Vanara army's existence from 14,000 years ago or something? Do we have any evidence? Do we have any evidence?
Vanara army, 14,000-year-old evidence.
Yeah, we need some evidence. At some stage, we need to have some evidence, without which it's just fantasy, pure fiction.
I can I tell you that do you know about Ram Janmabhoomi? The mandir where today the mandir is made.
Yeah.
The remains of Ram are found there. When the construction happened, the remains of Ram Janmabhoomi were found there.
The remains of Ram or Ram Janmabhoomi?
It's Ram Janmabhoomi. So Ram Janmabhoomi evidence were found there.
Yeah, in what way? Do you mean there's a temple that was found there?
Yes.
Yeah, temple could be any temple. So
Uh,
I mean, even if a temple was,
I don't think I haven't searched it properly, but the it is called that Ram was born there, and the remains of where he lived are found there.
Hemant,
Yes.
across India there are various archaeological sites. Various.
Yes.
For you to be confident that something is associated with Ram particularly, what exactly did you find there?
The place where he was born.
Okay,
That's
let me put it this way.
what I found.
Let me put it this way.
Okay.
At this rate, I can make big money with you. I can say I am God, and I'll show you the place where I was born 500,000 years ago. Come show, I'll show you. Entry ticket, £5 million. I can show you any number of times. You can revisit. Just because someone claims, if you're going to believe, what can I say? We need evidence. Hemant, can I please? I need to move on to the next one. Can I please suggest for you to try next week, for example, try and see, just put your, let's imagine very simply that someone is trying to cheat you, for example. Well, assume the worst and then try and work out if it is not the worst, it is actually the best. You see what I'm saying? But you need to assume the worst because there are criminals all over the place. So assume the worst. Let's pretend there is someone trying to cheat you. Start there and then try and see what evidence is there to really change from that paranoia that someone is trying to cheat you to being confident that actually this is true. Hemant, if you can please put on that sort of mindset, and maybe next week or something, if you can do more research, that'll be lovely.
Okay, Arul. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you very much, Hemant. Lovely speaking to you. God's blessings. Bye. Hello, Hindu. How are you doing?
Yeah, hi Arul. Nice meeting you.
Good to see you. Did we speak earlier? Your voice somehow is a little bit familiar. Did we speak earlier?
Some 15 days ago, I believe.
Yeah. Please remind me, what was the conversation we had?
You were, at the point we closed, you were saying that Nobel laureates themselves aren't the authority. And I wanted to say, no, they never claim authority because authority rests with only two individuals on planet Earth. One being Jesus Christ and another is Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. This is where our conversation was.
And what was the topic of discussion apart from that? What was the broader
discussion was like you're asking for what's the proof that your religion is right. I was saying that at least my religion has stood the test of time, stood the onslaught of modern science, because modern science at many a times is concurring with our worldview. while your idea of worldview that it was this universe just came into being just some 6,000 years ago is finding it difficult to survive. Um, I gave you the examples of how modern scientists and physicists they are concurring with our idea that time definitely or this creation is certainly not 6,000 years old. It is like billions of years in existence.
Well, like what analysis you have in mind to suggest that?
Like for example, when they carbon date a piece of bread, they find that this bread was baked some 12,000 years ago, and they find eggs of dinosaurs which are like 64,000 years old, and things alike. And many of these neuroscientists who are by birth Christians say that they just can't hold a worldview that this universe is 6,000 years old, and they have just jumped out of this clan, saying, "No, we'll stand up against these kind of ideas." Uh, like you know, basically what happens is, in India, especially these Christian organizations, they are investing billions of dollars to convert our people. That's perfectly fine. But what they're doing is they're infusing hate against our traditions, our gods. Religion, please understand, is not about your God versus my God. It is about attaining love for your neighbor as yourself, as Jesus Christ himself says. you know but unfortunately what's happening is our own guy, for some reason, he gets converted and he starts abusing our traditions, our gods, for no reason. I don't understand why this world is being made a battlefield with these ideas of your God versus my God. How can it be? Even Jesus Christ is asking us to love your neighbor. Even Krishna is asking the same thing: love your neighbor, love the world. And your neighbor is not just the guy beside your home. The whole world is your neighborhood. Love the world. Everybody is teaching the same ideas. I don't know why Christianity, Islam, you're making this world a battlefield between this God versus that God. Because the fundamental idea that you have is your God is a jealous God. That's a flawed idea. Please understand, jealousy is a disease. My parents many a times, they thrash me saying you are inflicted with jealousy. But now you are saying even God is filled with jealousy. Please understand, God is bereft of all this jealousy and all this mean-mindedness. And in India, we find some very absurd statement saying, "Oh, your idols, it should be, compared with obscenity." What is all this? Even England, your nation has got a national flag. What is it? It's an emblem. Please show me where is England in your national flag. It's simply a piece of cloth. Where is England there? Will anybody tomorrow tarnish that flag? Certainly not. Similarly, an idol is a symbol, is an emblem of divinity, which is very dear to us. And if anybody tarnishes our symbols, will not tolerate, and this is how we will create bloodshed. Your God versus my God.
Hindu, thank you very much for sharing your thoughts. Of course, there are multiple thoughts involved there, but can I please put it this way? Until you joined, I think before you, there were maybe 3 or 4 people, and we had a very enjoyable conversation. No one was trying to say, your God versus my God. That wasn't our discussion format at all. We were together trying to work out what the truth is. And in my awareness, you are the first person this evening who shows up and brings in this idea of your God versus my God. I am wondering if this notion of your God versus my God is not with the Christians but with you. What do you think about that idea?
No, I watched multiple videos of yours at Hyde Park, where you're always discussing. No, it's the Muslim Allah God. He's not the true God. The biblical God of Jesus is the true God. What is this? Is Allah saying them to involve themselves in any debauchery? Certainly not. I see Muslims waking up at 5 a.m. and going for their Fajr prayers. What a wonderful thing. Waking up at 5 a.m. in this cold season is not an easy thing, and turning up to the mosque. These young kids, I'm really glad. And do you know one thing? In India, just 5% of the Muslims are into alcoholism, while 25% of Christians are into alcoholism, and 23% of our own Hindus are into alcoholism. Now, should I say Islam is bad? Certainly not. Definitely, every home, every mother, every father wants his son to stay away from these sins of alcohol or drug addiction. And I'm glad that Muslims in the Muslim community, just 5% of them are into it. So do you think
Hindu,
that they are into malpractice or malicious acts? Certainly not.
Hindu, please. Let me suggest to you something very important. Straw manning people isn't a great idea. Now, when you hear my conversations at Speaker's Corner, I bring up specific points, and I'd like you to engage with the specific points alone. My point first, for example, I'll give you a simple example. Just the Sunday gone, I brought the issue of Christians being called the least of creatures, the lowest of creatures, the worst of creatures. Do you like the idea?
No, what I understand by the worst of the creatures is, if I believe that even there are Christian injunctions which say never indulge in alcoholism, then why is that 25% of Indian Christians are into alcoholism? Because it is not critiqued in the church. I have attended a lot of these Sunday sermons in church because India is a multi-religious nation. And never did I ever hear anybody taking down alcoholism. Never. Why is that so?
Hindu, please. What's the greatest issue we need to sort out in our lives first, you think, Hindu, please, in your view?
It is materialism, thinking that our happiness is in the outside world. This object gives me happiness, that person gives me happiness. This is the biggest problem that world is inflicted with.
Can I disagree with you, and can I say
Please.
that there's something else is the most serious problem?
Please, go ahead.
I think not knowing who true God is the greatest issue facing humanity. Not knowing who God is the greatest issue. Not alcoholism, not anything else, not anything by a million miles. In my view, would you be happy for you to consider that as a legitimate point?
No, certainly not, because this is a very
So
hard problem.
you seem to be the intolerant person here. Do you see that?
Please,
You
so
seem to
let
think
me.
that others should think in the same way as you do. Do you see
Certainly
that?
not. We are here to discuss, understand each other.
And so let me ask you again then. Please let me ask you again. I know you suggested materialism in a particular way is the greatest issue that we as humanity face, maybe in India alone, maybe across the world. If my simple question is, if I were to suggest that that is not the case in my view, it is really not recognizing who true God is being the worst issue that humanity faces, the most important issue humanity faces. Would you be willing to consider that to be the case?
With all humility, if I may say, with all due respect, that many a people have accepted Jesus to be true God and have joined the Vatican Church. Even there, after joining the Vatican, so many scandalous nonsense is emanating out of
You're
it.
not answering my
Right?
question. You're not answering my question. Would you be willing to consider what I am saying, my proposal as to what the greatest issue to be? Would you like to consider that to be the greatest issue, or at least allow me to consider that to be the greatest issue?
Please, if you propose this problem and if you think that this problem can be solved, I'm all ears. The whole world is with rapt attention
No,
to listen.
forget about being solved and whatever else. I'm merely asking you, would you be willing to consider that despite what you thought, what I'm thinking might be the greatest issue, would you be willing to consider that?
Why not?
Or at
I'll
the least,
definitely
would you be,
consider it.
what's that?
I'll definitely consider your viewpoint, your understanding. I'll
Sure,
definitely listen.
that's where tolerance begins. That's where tolerance begins. So, so now you are willing to consider. That's lovely. You've allowed space for me to operate in. That's really lovely. So you are saying, despite the fact that you see the world in a different way, you are quite happy for me to see the world in a different way, and you see priorities in a different way. You're very happy for me to see priorities in a different way. Now, in the way I see priority, understanding who true God is very important for me, and I think that it should be important for others too. That's what I think, and you're quite happy to allow me to think that way. I'm really grateful to you. And so the obvious inference for that is I'd really like to have conversations about who true God is. I don't know why that was a pain point for you earlier at all, if you are tolerant, that is.
Please, Mr. Arul, we just don't have the word tolerance, we have the word acceptance. I don't just tolerate you. Tolerate is actually a crude word. Arul, I don't like you and yet I tolerate. This is something which we tell our wives usually. Just joking. But the word is acceptance. We totally
Yeah.
accept your worldview.
Hindu, please, if you had accepted, you wouldn't have spent 10 minutes, the last 10 minutes, speaking about what you were speaking about. Clearly, you did not accept, and that is why you even brought the issues up.
What I say is the kind of worldview you have, you can't actually solve this problem to everyone's contentment.
Forget about what I can or cannot do. That's not up to you. You're not deciding for me. All that I'm saying is be humble. Have your ideas. Try and speak about your ideas to others, but equally allow others to do something similar. That's all I'm saying.
Please, of course, this is your
And therefore,
platform and this world is yours.
no, yeah, exactly. And therefore, please, if I could request, never ever go anywhere else and accuse, why are you talking about your God versus my God? Don't do that. Just engage with the conversation if you can. Otherwise, if
Please.
you don't have time, please move on. I don't know why people get upset with the conversation even happening. It shouldn't be
No,
happening.
sir, last week also I joined. You said there is no time for you. I silently went away. I waited for 7 more days to join again. Last time when I joined in, you said you are on a hurry and you need to leave. I said that's perfectly fine. I can wait 7 more days. And next Thursday I logged in. Why did I do this?
You did this because maybe you hold conflicting ideas in your mind, but it doesn't matter, Hindu, as long as you right now understand that I or other Christians, other Indian Christians, should be able to have conversations which you may or may not like, as long as you appreciate that those conversations are perfectly possible, especially within the law. I'm happy. Please don't say this is how we lead our lives and therefore you also better lead your lives this way. Please don't do. As long as you don't do, I'm happy. So lovely that you're continuing being here, and this is one of the intents we have, Hindu, which is to engage in challenging conversations. And India is a lovely nation. India is, of course, my home nation. Yeah, lovely. I'm a Tamil. Being a Tamil, one of my jokes in my team is that Tamils are the best people in the world. It's a joke that I share with others and so on. I really value my nation. And what I'd like to suggest to you is, when people from my own nation essentially impose a view where Christians can't be having these conversations, and that in itself is intolerant, merely attempting to have these conversations about who God is in itself somehow, illegal, or what. Of course, clearly it's not illegal, but somehow it's inhumane or whatever else. I find that idea revelatory of intolerance in itself. It's a self-defeating point. Christians are quite happy for anyone to talk about anything. We hear, we may comment respectfully, meaningfully, we may comment and we move on. We may not agree. If we agree, that's good. We move on. That's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking for you from you, Hindu, because you come across as an educated man. I'd like at least, and I'm not that education necessarily is a requirement for leadership. I know of many people who are not educated, who are wonderful people, in my view. So let's try and make our nation tolerant, which I think requires us to be able to have meaningful conversations without being offended. When respect is given to the people involved in the conversation.
Okay, sir, that's why I said we don't tolerate, we accept. We accept Jesus Christ. You know, something with Tommy Joseph, who is also another evangelist, said the biggest problem of advancing Christianity in India is Hindus say we accept Jesus Christ. Finished. The game is over. If you talk to me about the ideals of Jesus Christ, I say, wow, these are great ideals. In fact, in my Bhagavad Gita classes, I have heard the teachings of Jesus Christ. When the teacher was talking about the idea of forgiveness, he gave the example of Jesus Christ. Look, even when he was being crucified, the Jesus said, forgive these people, they know not what they are doing. Even when he was being nailed, this is something that they're giving me as an example in my Bhagavad Gita class. This indicates what? We totally accept and bow down to Jesus Christ. There is no question of intolerance. Problem crops up only when some mean-minded people start saying, my God is the only God and your God is to be belittled. Don't belittle any God.
Why is that mean? Why is that mean? Do you think there are multiple gods?
There is only the best definition of God is truth. There is only one truth in this existence.
And can that be Jesus alone?
Sorry?
Can that be Jesus alone?
So be it. If it is Jesus alone, it's well and good. We have no problem. But what?
So let's have these conversations. So let me put it this way, Hindu. I don't know what was offensive. You said the problem comes when someone claims that their God is the only true God, and in within half a minute you've agreed that if that is true, that is true. So why not have a conversation? Clearly, if there is only one God, it's always good to figure out who it is. What's the problem in this?
Perfectly fine. We will engage in conversation, discussion, debates. This world is for the same purpose. We will engage in everything. But the only problem is, okay, now I was having a conversation with one of my friends who converted to Christianity. And I asked him this question, okay, how will you handle this problem that the scientists are putting forth, a bread which is baked 12,000 years ago, and it is not in concurrence with your Christian worldview? That moment, he was totally, found it difficult to argue, and he made me as an enemy of him. What is this?
Oh wow! Hindu. Maybe let's put it this way. I mean, that's how you feel. I don't know how he feels. Maybe he feels that you somehow look at him as an enemy. I don't know what is going on. I mean, I don't want to talk about that, Hindu. That's not a good way to carry on with the conversation. Very simply, at least we both agree it's important to have these conversations. And from what I'm seeing, you've already changed your mindset to a great degree in the last 15 minutes. Can I please comment to you to be an ambassador in suggesting that conversations can be had and need to be had? And if the truth is Jesus alone is God, then Christians trying to talk about it, which is a legal thing to do, which is, like you agreed, is a reasonable thing to do also, is a loving thing to do also. And so please, can we please agree? We don't even have to complain that Christians are talking about this. Let's not complain anymore. Let's get on with the conversations. And let's even be ambassadors for these conversations. Let's really, really be tolerant. It's not wonderful to claim that I'm accepting, but accepting my own version. While you've rejected the other person's version, that's the very definition of not accepting. So let's not even use these hooplas and so on to confuse others. Very simply, you are a human being. I am a human being. We are fellow countrymen, from India. Being from India, my home country. We are fellow countrymen. Let's get on with the conversations, Hindu. So that's really lovely, Hindu. So So your problem right now is only the science? Is that what you're saying?
Okay, if you are saying, like, this world is a property, if we assume it as such, and if you are saying this property is owned by Mr. Jesus, please go ahead and prove it for me. I'll be very happy to acknowledge.
Jesus died and came back alive. It's the only verifiable revelation we have in the entire human history, the biblical revelation. There is nothing else at all in the entire human history of anything divine in a verifiable manner. There is nothing else. So if
Okay.
you want to explore this, the death, burial, and resurrection, the death and the resurrection of Jesus Christ. So let me ask you this very simply. If Jesus were to die and on the third day come back alive in human history, do you think that's a good starting point for you to explore in relation to the question you had in mind?
With all humility, I can say, sir, I wasn't there. This is something supernatural. I cannot testify for that. Maybe it's a fable or maybe it's a reality. I can't stand for it. Maybe it's true.
I'm not asking you to stand for it. I'm just asking, is it a good place to start?
Yes, perfectly fine. If you can prove it for us that something as supernatural as this has certainly happened, go ahead. Prove it for the world.
The world has been exploring this for a long time, and many have been Christians because of this. So I've written a book on this, the death, burial, resurrection. Tomorrow is Christianity under scrutiny, and I'm willing to go through the details. If you're willing to email me, I can send you a copy of the book. But today the focus is on Indian religions. But long story short, you've got the right point. The death, burial, resurrection of Jesus Christ is the crux of what we work based off as Christians. That's the crux of what we work based off. The point is very simply, there is nothing else remotely close enough in any of the other worldviews at all. And that is not to disrespect any other worldview, but to really point out to a glaring difference.
Please go ahead and prove it, sir. Please go ahead and prove it for us.
Okay. Okay. So that's okay. Fine. Fair enough. We have three people waiting in the backstage, but we'll spend 5 minutes on this. So let me start from. So do you appreciate that Jesus was a historical person? Do you appreciate that so far, or what is your take on that so far?
Well, these people like Bart, Hmon, they're all disputing it, but that's perfectly fine. Disputes will always be there. Okay, for the sake of argument, let's accept he was a historical person.
I don't want to accept it for the sake of argument. I'd like for you to give your informed judgment based on evidence. What is your take? If you don't think he's historical, I can get into that also. But what's your take on the historicity of a mere existence of a human being called Jesus Christ?
I can only say there is a controversy. I haven't explored it. I haven't researched it. But yet I will accept your words. Okay, he was there. Because historians, you can't believe, for example, something happened in US and there are different biased narratives on that event, because even every journalist is biased in today's world. So we can't we can't rely ourselves on these journalists or historians. We have to see it for ourselves or remain silent. That's why, in the Indic religion, this is the most beautiful thing. Whenever they ask this supernatural question, they say remain silent. Because you can never prove those things. Based on what is empirical, that's the starting point. History is not the starting point. What is now here, which is in your experience, let us start from there. For example, somebody is an alcoholic here, and we can start our conversation showing a person, see, he is not alcoholic and yet he is blissed out. Why do you need something which will intoxicate you and corrupt your mental state? Why do you need something to come out of your misery?
I absolutely can't believe my eyes. Are you really saying history is not of any use in our conversation?
History alone should not be the starting point, or that should not be the final argument, because you can't trust people. You can't trust what has happened 2000 years ago. You will have to rely. That's perfectly fine if somebody wants to rely, but that alone should not define everything.
Look, you and I are part of history, yeah?
Sir, for example, someone who's very nice and kind to you might write some golden words about you, but somebody like
That's
Mr.
not,
Abbas or something.
apologies. No, Hindu, please. You need to remain focused. My point about Jesus was a death, burial, resurrection of Jesus Christ, which, if it happened, would be objective, black and white. It's nothing to do with subjective opinions, whatever. You're completely right that we need to still explore to find out if it is true. Completely understood. And that goes without the saying. That is essentially why we're even beginning this conversation. Absolutely. No one is denying that we need to scrutinize. Absolutely. But the point is, let's get on with it. But don't discount history right at the start. I'm simply trying to find out, can we learn something from history? Would you agree that we can learn something from history?
You're perfectly right. Can we learn anything from history? Of course, we should learn everything from history. Means because they have already explored some things and they have written down for us how this problem can be solved. Right? For example, how to land on the moon. History people have already done that work and they have given us.
Yeah. So that's good. So we can use history, we can study history. So don't ever go back. I don't know why you repeatedly confuse me and maybe confuse the others also, maybe confusing yourself. So we're quite happy to use history. So don't say focus on the today, and I don't know why you bring these ideas now. So history can be
Please,
used.
will you allow me to clarify one thing, please?
No, but we're running short of time. Please,
Oh,
I really
maybe
like.
others also want to join here. I see their messages. If you want to move on, maybe next week we can just carry on from here.
Okay, that's fine. So I think that'll be lovely. If you're able to join tomorrow, but that's a little bit later, 1/2 past midnight. If you're able to join tomorrow, because tomorrow is the ideal time for this. But if you want to join next week, that's fine too. Either way is fine. Hindu, I'm really eager to have these conversations. But thank you for understanding that there are a couple of other people I'd really like to bring on stage.
Yeah,
You've offered a lovely point there. Thank you very much.
yeah,
Hindu.
great, Mr. Arul. Bye.
Yes. So thank you for engaging in a friendly manner, and this is exactly what we are after: friendly conversations, even in areas where we might thoroughly disagree at the start. Maybe, who knows? In a couple of days, we might agree. So it's wonderful having these conversations.
Okay, sir. Vanakkam.
Vanakkam. Lovely speaking to you. God's blessings. Bye. Hello, space. Hello.
Hi, Arul. Hi there.
Hey, how are you doing?
Yeah, doing well. How about you?
Yeah, by God's grace. Are you the one who shows up as space on the live chat too?
Yes, true. Yes, that's me, Arul. Yeah.
Okay, I did actually. I mean, I don't remember all the details of what kind of worldview you presented in the live chat. But just to quickly run through that. So, are you a Hindu yourself, or
Yes, Arul, a Hindu. Yeah.
you are? Okay. And have you spoken before? I can't remember.
So we have spoken, I think, months before. That was slightly, a different topic. But today, actually, I wanted to speak on one of the critical bits. I think most of the times it has been put in bad light, and it's very easy to kind of be dismissive of what I'm going to say. But just wanted to give slightly a different view on that topic. So what I wanted to speak was on the caste system in Hindu religion.
And what's your take on that?
All
We
right.
will have a time limited conversation.
Yeah, of course.
Even
Yeah.
though today I don't have a second session to join, I still have a weekend training to prepare for. So I'd really like to wrap up. There are, after you, a couple of other people waiting. Jaden, we need to. I don't know if you are speaking with Greg. If you haven't been, please speak to Greg, Jaden. So you're not in this stream. Today we are dealing with Indian religions. So Jaden, please email Greg to have the Zoom conversation. I don't know if that happened or not. But space, after you, there are a couple of people. So 3 people. Shall we say maybe 15 minutes each, please? So I can have some time in the evening after this, so I can spend some time preparing. So,
Sure.
what did you want to say about caste system?
Yeah. So I just want to say that many of the times whenever we speak about caste system and Hindu, it has been put in bad light. So I just wanted to share that in an essence, what it specifies is kind of a universal concept and not just specific to Hinduism. So if you know in Hinduism, in the caste system, we call it as varnas. So what it defines is 4 types of varnas, right? The Brahmin, Kshatriyas, the Vaishyas, and then the Shudras. So Brahmin, if we see in the modern world, what it relates to is the priests, the teachers, or the education sector. Now, no country in the world can exist without this. Similarly, Kshatriyas, that is the defense. That means if you want to the military, and if you want to defend our country, we need fighters in the country. So that is what are the Kshatriyas. Third is the Vaishyas, which is the business class. So in current modern world, what are the trading and all the activities, whatever is required, that happens, that cannot exist. The world cannot exist, or countries cannot exist without trading. So that's what is Vaishyas. And lastly, the Shudras, that is the labor class. That's the service industry. Every country needs people working for some businesses or companies and so on. So world cannot exist without these. So in a sense, the 4 varnas which are defined in Hinduism long, many thousands of years ago, they still exist in the world, in all the countries. They all are there, are actually being used. But what we see is, when we say it in a bad light for Hinduism, it is primarily because of the distortion which has happened in this system. So when we say that the work which I do is better and correct compared to the work what you do, when such kind of discrimination happens, that's when the problems arise. So I think that is the only problem. And to relate it to the conversations which we are having, or the previous guy who was saying that why do we have to prove our god is better than yours? So it's the same thing, wherein we try to say the god of Bible is better, or is the only god compared to the god of the Islam or Quran or any other god. So there we are comparing and saying, okay, this is the only truth, this is the only thing, and we discriminate and put the others down. So this is what has happened in the caste system as well.
What is your? Where are you from, Space? What's your nationality?
Origin is from India, but I'm based out in UK.
Oh, you're in the UK. Okay, lovely. But you're from India. Now, please don't discriminate. Please don't discriminate. Where are you really from?
Where really from is in India, from India.
No. Please don't discriminate. Don't put other nations down. Where are you really from?
I didn't get your question, Arul.
Well, this is the problem. This is the problem. Very simply, if you are from India and if it is truth, it is true. And if I suggest that you're from Afghanistan, or you're from let's say some other nation, Iran, or some whatever else, you may say no, that's not true. That's simply not true. Yeah.
Oh, all right. So now I got your point. You mean to say if I'm really from India, I should understand the details of caste and so on, right? No.
No. That's not my point. My point is, to assert truth is not bad. And so if I'm going to stand here and say Jesus is the only true God, and if it is true, I should be able to assert. Just the assertion doesn't make it bad. So please don't paint this in any bad way at all. Please don't. Truth is truth, and truth is exclusive. Truth will stand contradicting with a lie. If you say you're from India, and if I insisted you are from Sri Lanka, for example, you would be able to demonstrate that this Arul fellow is a liar. I'm not from Sri Lanka. I'm from India. I don't know why he is lying. I am from India. You'd be able to demonstrate that, and that is my point. So just to comment on the last part, which is very important. Many times, fellow countrymen struggle in this very simple idea. I don't know what offends them. My dear friend and other friends who are watching, truth is truth. You might think maybe all gods can coexist. I may not think so. And therefore, one of us, at least one of us, is wrong. Let's have a conversation to find out who is wrong. to find out what is true. If I am right, there is only one God, and therefore that conversation is going to be really useful. So, Space, don't tell me, please, don't ever say again to anyone saying, hey, these conversations are where the problems are. There, no, it's not a problem. The problem is when you prevent such conversations. That's where the problem is.
No, I'm not against the conversation or debates. What I'm trying to say is when we try to say this is only the truth and the others is wrong. So I was trying to relate it
Are
to the
you? Is
past.
it okay? Can I say, Space? You're from Sri Lanka. Can I say that?
So, okay, I know what you're coming to, but what I'm saying, see, in this world, there is so much variety and everything is coexisting.
I'm pretty sure where there are a variety of nations. I'm asking you, can I say that you're from Sri Lanka? There's plenty of variety in terms of nations. Can I say that you are from Sri Lanka?
No, I'm not. Yeah.
Well, but don't, please don't do this. Don't be intolerant. Why? There is variety in this world. Why do you insist? Please, can I please say that you're from Sri Lanka? Maybe Malaysia, maybe Singapore. Why can't I?
Yeah. No. So, see, I I hope you got the point. What I was saying that when we say caste
I
system is
didn't.
bad,
I didn't.
we are going.
Okay,
I'm
now
going
I
back
can
to the
come to
caste.
caste system. But before that, Space, I really want to quickly, please reiterate. There is no problem in any conversation about God. No problem at all. You know where the problem is? The problem is when people enter into an illegal territory. For example, beat people up or insist that other people shouldn't have the conversation, like what you are doing. That's where the problem is.
No,
People have.
debating was never wrong because in Hindus, all
So
the
just
scriptures.
watch. Please just watch your own statements, from a few minutes ago. You said this is where the problem is when someone says theirs is the truth. My point is you are now contradicting yourself 2 minutes ago. Debating is wonderful. Let's debate now. Come, Space, please. Caste system. So I simply can't believe. I simply cannot believe.
Which point, Arul? Which
Uh,
point you want?
okay, are you familiar with the idea of the Varnashra Dharma? Head Brahmin. Are you familiar with this idea?
So head,
Brahmins,
maybe
Kshatriyas.
what you're saying is head means it's the knowledge, the knowledge, the education system.
So you think people of farming don't have knowledge?
No. What I'm saying is farmers are
Who has
there
the
who are the.
better knowledge about farming? Please
No.
tell me.
See, the farmer has knowledge of the farming. Who is saying they
Who has
don't
the
have knowledge?
better knowledge of farming?
Farmer. Farmer is
So
has
not Brahmins. So not Brahmins. So
no. See,
farmers are part of the knowledge base as much as whoever else who is part of or may not be part of knowledge base. Who have knowledge of let's say fishing, for example.
education need not be related to a particular stream of work. What you have, the knowledge can be
This is
knowledge, right?
ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous.
So you agree that
Absolutely ridiculous.
so you agree that there need to be education system to know a particular stream of work.
No. Please listen to me. I believe if you want to learn farming, the farmer is the best source of information. I believe if you want to learn fishing, the actual practitioner is the best source of information, who is the fisherman, not the Brahmin. For the Brahmin to say he is going to educate everyone about everything is ridiculous. This is insane. This is,
No one
I
is
don't know
saying
what
that.
goes through the mind of these
No one
people.
is saying that. See, what I'm saying is
So
Brahmin.
what do you mean they are the knowledge base? What
I'm
do you
saying the
mean by that?
fisherman and the farmer is also a Brahmin.
Okay,
There's
so
no
everyone is a
difference.
Brahmin. So everyone is a Brahmin, yeah? Everyone
The
has
knowledge.
some work and which they're doing, and therefore they can teach others about that.
So the priest in a church, is he a Brahmin? Does he have
Okay,
knowledge?
forget that there is. I mean, if you understand Christian history, there's no priest in a church. That's Roman Catholicism. That's erroneous ideas. But let's keep that aside for a moment. The point very simply is, can we please quickly agree? Whereas earlier you said the teaching educational system is from Brahmins. That's a ridiculous idea.
No,
The idea
that's
is
what
very.
it is. No,
Please,
that's what it
please.
is. You are see. As I said, it could be you could be very dismissive, but there should be some point. Can a society
Space.
exist
Don't
without education?
don't focus on whether I am dismissive or not.
No, what
Focus
you're
on this.
saying
Please
is no.
listen.
See, what
Space.
you're saying
Space.
is
Please.
a
One second.
Brahmin is
Let's not speak
different to
over each other.
education
Please.
system. What I'm saying,
Space.
both are
Let's not
same.
speak over each other. Please. Very simply, don't focus on whether someone is dismissive. Focus on the meat of the conversation. The
Yes,
point very simple.
yeah.
Can we please just one second? Can we please agree with every practitioner of various different fields? You can learn something, and of that field, they are the best source of information. Can we please agree?
That I agree, but as a sector, education is a sector which exists, right?
No. I
Can a
don't.
society exist without education? You have to you have to tell that. Can it
Uh,
exist just based on farmers or fishermen and without education?
Look, space. Focus on what I'm saying, please, because you're coming. I'm trying to unravel the details which you haven't seen so far. You're using this mythological term, educational sector. I don't know what you have in your mind. I'm trying to unpack that step by step. And so please stick with me in terms of what I'm doing right now, please. So you and I understand, for fishing, the actual fishermen are the best source of information. So if the education system is a good education system, to teach fishing, they need to have fishermen teaching it. Do we agree?
So you say in the universities there had to be fishermen to actual fishermen.
If you need to have proper teaching on fishing, yes, of course.
Your teachers can be fishermen. Yeah.
Yes, so teachers can be fishermen, or the education sector should be filled with fishermen, farmers, carpenters, all sorts of different people. Of course, it's not one kind of education. We're talking about
Yes.
multiple variety of education, but
Yeah.
but the knowledge base is with every practitioner. To suggest that one particular group, the Brahmins, are the knowledge base is utterly ridiculous. I don't know
No,
where
no,
you got this idea from. What do
no.
Brahmins really know? Please tell me.
Brahmin is
Brahmins who are priests in a temple, Brahmins who are priests in a temple, what are they supposed to have a knowledge base of? Please tell me.
See, Brahmins is equal to education. You shouldn't restrict it to a specific branch.
This is I don't buy into caste system. I want you to explain. Why is a Brahmin the educator when it comes to fishing? Please let me know.
Because the fisherman is a Brahmin.
So everyone is a Brahmin.
No, yeah. So whoever has
the fisherman is a Brahmin.
See,
are the carpenters also Brahmins?
See, you're trying to distort the argument. What I'm saying, there are 4 primary sectors. One is the education, which is equivalent to Brahmins. Okay, we have got trading sector, which is equivalent to business, which is equivalent to Vaishyas.
Space. Look, you're repeating how we already know. We already know.
So that's
I'm trying to understand what is.
You are trying to bring is you're trying to bring discrimination. Okay, Brahmins cannot be a fisherman and so on. That's what the point is. It's not the.
Wow. Cool down, soldier. I don't understand what is going through your mind right now. Please hold on. My point simply is, maybe you do know the caste system, maybe you don't know. Were you born in India?
Yes, yeah.
And so you do know the caste system is what you're suggesting, or did you move to the UK fairly?
I already explained what it exactly.
You did not. You gave me a very confusing picture. I don't even know what you know about caste system or not.
It's very simple. 4 sectors, the four varnas, and it exists in all the countries. Where the problem is when one sector says I am better than the other one and starts to discriminate.
Space, please. Okay, let me ask you this very simply. Do you appreciate that Brahmins are these people who walk around with a thread? Do you appreciate that?
No. So in original system, Brahmin is not people who walk around with.
So who are Brahmins? Please define.
Education.
Please define who the Brahmins.
People associated with education sector are Brahmins.
And so everyone can be a Brahmin if they get into education sector.
Yes. That's correct. That's the true essence. Yeah.
So what exactly was the problem with Karna in Mahabharata? Why could he not contend among the royal?
Exactly.
Why could he not?
Question. So that's what I'm saying. So that is a discrimination. So,
what do you mean discrimination? So you have invented. Look, Mahabharata is a source of information, not you. I don't know what invention you have in your mind, which is whitewashed.
So
I don't know, ridiculous idea you have. This what you have in your mind is not caste system, my dear friend. Caste
no,
system is defined by the source of information,
caste
which
system in
are
its original sense is it just talks about four different sectors
do
which
you
exist,
I can't
which is
believe this. Do
universal
you
and
what are the primary sources of information for caste system?
okay.
Not
So
you.
forget about what's defined. Tell
No,
me
no,
the
it's
four
very
sectors which
important. What are the primary sources of information for for defining caste system, please?
the four varnas, right? The one which I
Yeah,
mentioned
what is the primary source of information? Where do you get the authoritative definitions?
of the caste system.
Yeah, because you're giving me some Mickey Mouse ideas. I don't know where you got your
Not
ideas from. These are
because
whitewashed.
see these are the best examples which which is the true essence of what the caste system is, and what
I
you're talking
can't believe
about
this
is
absolute
where when
gibberish, man.
the distortion or
Look,
discrimination
space,
happened.
space, space, space. I really, really, really look, space. You began by saying that it's distorted and so on. Let me put it this way. Um, caste system is a serious problem in India. Very serious problem in India.
It used to be, not now. So there are a lot of reforms happening and things are happening.
Space,
So all,
space, 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 play. Don't be urgent in speaking right now. I'm going to give you some very, very important details. I don't know where you get your ideas from. I really don't know. I really, really don't know. I can give you details of ongoing caste discrimination in India today as we speak. There are
discrimination is
towns.
wrong.
Would
See.
you
What
like to listen?
I'm not.
Would you like to
I'm not
listen?
saying that so what has happened or the distortions or discriminations is right. Obviously, it
No,
is
space.
right.
1 second. Space,
But in
space,
true
please. Please.
essence,
Space, please.
the
Space, please.
original
Space, please.
concept.
Space. I've just removed you. I'm going to re-add. Please listen. Thank you. Space. You said a minute ago it doesn't happen today. Now you are contradicting yourself. It is happening today. Please don't contradict. Make things up as you go along. I know people in the UK, people across the, in the West, people who follow Indian religions across the West. Unfortunately, I'm not saying you're malicious. I'm not saying you're intentionally malicious. You've just been indoctrinated to speak about stuff which isn't true at all. Caste system, if you want to understand what it is, how it is, and all those sorts of stuff, learn from the ground rather than taking the baton on and going on a march in the UK, in the US. Don't do that. Go to India, go to villages of India, go to towns of India, tier 2, tier 3 towns of India. Learn before picking up your flag and going around. Caste system has serious implications even today. Some of the drastic effects of caste system are absolutely obnoxious. To an extent, I am utterly ashamed. I am utterly ashamed for multiple different reasons. One of which is that I haven't done anything so far to eradicate this 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 worst human practice ever, worse than the cross-Atlantic slave trade by a millionfold. I haven't done anything so far to,
Arul,
uplift.
I don't know whether I'm on or not. So what you're saying is, the end result or the problems. What I tried to explain was the original source,
Space,
that is the
space,
four bits.
space, please. I'm going to ask a series of questions. In my view, you're jumping from one place to another. You're not even coherent and meaningful and consistent with your own statements. Let me go through a series of questions, and based on the answers, you need to stick to the answers in our conversation. Number one, do you agree that caste system is practiced and is affecting millions today? Do you agree?
There has been a lot of reform within the country,
That's not the
and
question asked. Do you agree it has implications to millions of people even today? Several of them, several million, hundreds of millions of people are suffering big time as we speak.
I
I don't care about whether you have
no, I
reformations in
don't
the world.
agree. It's wrong information. It's a wrong view or a wrong lens which the West has. It's not true at all in the India, in the ground reality.
Where does the West come in here? You and I are speaking to each other. Why do you bring in the West? Why is this? Why is this indoctrination? Why the West and the British and everything else
Well,
and blame everything else?
so
Please,
the
let's focus
statement
on the
you
problem.
made,
Oh, yes, sir.
give an example of the statement what
Space,
you have
space,
made, right?
space, space, space. I will. But all that I'm requesting is, as we speak, don't bring in random, nonsensical, irrelevant points. Nothing to do with West. I'm not from the West. You're not from the West originally. So you and I are speaking. I don't know why you
So I
bring in the
disagree
West.
with the statement. Okay, there are no millions of people which are getting affected by the caste system.
Sure. So that's your point. If I were to contradict, so if you were to support what you're saying, please explain to me what is your reasoning for saying that. So it's okay, maybe not millions. Are you saying less people are suffering, or what is your take? Please let me know your take, and then we'll expand on that a little bit more.
So I don't know the exact numbers or what is happening. So if you have examples, you can share, but there's nothing in the news of that sort.
Excuse me, I'm asking you. So in other words, you just don't know.
There's nothing in the news of that sort. And in my direct experience also, I didn't see anything like that.
Where is your direct experience?
When I was living in India, right? So for
When you
many,
were
many
living,
years,
how
for
space? How
many,
old are you?
for
How
many,
old are
many
you?
years, I lived in India. I didn't come across any of these,
How
things.
how how
I've
how
always
how,
been
how long did you live in India?
many years, 25, 26 years. Nothing of that
And
sort.
are you married right now?
Yes.
Where did you get married? In India, or did you get married here?
How is that relevant? But Arul,
Please, I
come-
mean,
so see,
it's
what I'm
very
saying is,
relevant. No, no,
see,
please. Where did you get married? In India or here?
India.
In India. And how did you go about finding your wife?
All right. So see, what I'm saying, it is irrelevant. The reason being, it was not, it was not based on caste or anything. What you say, okay, from this caste. Why now to explain why it was suggested that the marriages should happen within the caste?
I'm
Simply
asking you, how did you go about finding your wife?
wasn't based on caste.
In your case,
Yeah,
what was it based on?
it's very personal. I don't need to disclose, but it wasn't based
Sure.
on
But
caste.
are you aware that most Indians today get married only within their caste? Are you aware of this?
I'm trying to tell you the reason why that if that
Excuse
is
me,
the
I'm not
case,
looking for the reason. I'm looking for an agreement first, so we don't get confused beyond that. Are you aware of the fact that most Indians get married based on their caste today? Are you aware of this fact?
no, it's not the fact. I don't think so. It's happening now. It's changed a lot. It could be maybe many years ago that would be the case, but don't think that's what is happening right now.
So you discount this entirely.
Yes.
I have no reason to speak to you anymore on this at all. You are an ignorant person who thrives on ignorance and want to thrive on ignorance. What can I do?
See, what you're saying is modern day India, they are going and checking the caste before they're getting married. I disagree with this statement. That's not
Okay,
the fact.
I heard you. I completely heard you. I heard what you're saying. All that I'm saying is, I would have liked for you to say, yes, it is true, or I don't know. But for you to say what you're saying right now is ridiculous in my knowledge. And therefore, I can only say, when I say ridiculous, I don't mean that you are maybe intentionally misleading. You might just be delusional a little bit, where when you should say you don't know, you are confident enough to say for whatever reason that something is true, when you should say that I don't know. Very simply, if this is what you're going to say, I can't engage with you in a conversation. You can ask any number of Indians. Please ring them up. If you have friends back in India, please ring them up. Try and find out in their anecdotal experience how many people look at caste to
So
get
that's what
married.
I'm
Please find
trying
out.
to say, Arul. So this is a lens with which we are seeing. That is not the actual fact of ground reality. Today is modern India. That's what we
Thank you
think.
very much. I disagree. Thank you very much. I don't want to argue about this anymore.
All right, yeah, same. I disagree. I don't agree with that viewpoint.
Cool. But my point is, get to know information.
I am aware of it. It's the
Like
lens with which,
where what is your source of information?
see, I lived in India, studied in India. I have my friends. I've not seen, based
I,
on caste, someone is getting married or thing. They all have
do
their
you, do
own.
you know the leading do you know the leading matrimonial sites in India?
See, if you're going by
No,
matrimonial
no.
sites,
Do
matrimonial
you
sites
know?
which consider,
Excuse me, space. Do you know the leading matrimonial sites of India?
there are many, but not necessarily I have not gone and checked them.
Okay. In other words, you're just ignorant. Like I said earlier, you're just ignorant. You thrive on ignorance. Let me bring this up. For example,
So, Arul, while you bring that up, I'm trying to explain why for marriage
don't explain anything to me. Don't explain
why
anything to me if
why
you're
not?
going to deny on basic facts.
No. So what your point is, people get married based on caste. I'm trying to explain why they do it. What's the reason?
I'm not asking you to explain why they do before you understand they do. You're denying they do, and now you're going to explain why they do. I don't know. You'll make me go mad now.
No. What I'm saying, I deny they do because in modern India, no one, kind of checks that kind of thing.
Okay,
However,
Space. Please don't confuse me. Let me ask you very simply: are you denying that people check caste before they get married? Are you denying that?
that's
That's
true.
the common practice. Are you denying that?
So that's not the common practice. I think no
Okay.
longer. It
Okay.
might have been,
Fine.
but not
Fine.
now.
If that's not the common practice, don't even explain why they do, because that's not the common practice. So why do you even go there? My point is,
Historically, they might be checking, but not now.
okay. My point is, if you care, I can show you. I can open a number of prominent matrimonial sites for you, and I can demonstrate. Demonstrate to you how
And tell me
all of
why
them.
that is wrong. Why that is wrong.
No,
Getting
don't even come there. Agree with the fact that it is happening first before you come to whether it is wrong or right.
okay, just for the argument's sake, if I agree, why it is wrong? Why it is wrong to get married within
And
caste?
so we can at least agree it's a system which is practiced today. Rather than, so here is where delusion is big time. It doesn't do good. Delusion isn't good at all. At least know the facts before advancing further subjective view on the facts.
No,
Facts
so
are important.
I agreed for the sake of argument, but my question is
No, there's
why
no
it is
sake of
wrong.
I don't have space. Honestly speaking, I see many people who are in the West who, in my view, go around and claim things about the caste system and a few other things such as that. And I can only look at them and think, what goes through the minds of these people? Are they educated? Have they sought knowledge? Have they researched? What is going on? Now, very simply, Space, I lost respect for you a long time ago when you said it's not practiced today. I lost respect.
No. See, you believe that it is practiced. What I'm
I'm
saying
not.
is,
I'm not going by my belief. I'm really not going by my belief at all.
maybe few examples which you might have experienced. No, I have got.
What do you mean? Excuse me. Cool down, mate. I can show you the leading matrimonial sites today, right now, to you. Every one of them, I bet my life on it. Unless they are some sort of Christian or some sort of Buddhist sites, every one of them would have caste in them. And you're
So
telling me I'm going by my experience. This is, I don't know what goes through your mind.
no,
Are matrimonial websites my personal experience, or is that common source of information for us?
no. What I'm saying is you are putting that in a bad light. What I'm saying, why
No, no,
it
no,
is
no.
wrong.
Forget about whether it's good or bad. First of all, let's agree that it is practiced.
No.
You,
So what I'm
on the
saying,
one hand, you disagree on the
there's a large population in India. Maybe 20% is practicing it. 80%
not
is not.
maybe 20%. Excuse me, not maybe 20%. If you don't know the facts, at least be willing to say you don't know the facts. Don't make things up as you go along. Please don't, because you showed up here to suggest that this is a wonderful system. Get the facts right before coming to conclusions such as that. Please. This is impacting, this is a criminal offense, that. Not what you did, by the way. Discriminating based on caste is a criminal offense in India. It is that serious of a problem, and you're willy-nilly making facts up as you go along, and you want me to respect you in the conversation such as this. What goes through your mind space?
Modern day India nowadays, most of the marriages are happening as love marriages. Nobody is going back to the parents
Most
and
of the
all.
marriages along my. Where do you get your statistics from?
That's what I'm saying. So some in the past
I know
only.
you're saying this. Where do you get your statistics from?
So your statistics are based on some matrimonial sites, right?
Don't come to me. I'm asking you. You're making an assertion. Where do you get your statistics from?
That's from the live experience. That's what is happening in
Like
India.
what is your source of information?
Your source of information is matrimonial sites.
Don't jump to me. Don't jump to me. I'm asking you, what is your source of information?
On a large population, what is your source of information that it
Excuse
is
me.
not happening?
I'm trying to find out if you have any source of information.
Do you have any other source which
In
contradicts
other
what
words, you
I'm saying?
haven't got. Thank you very much, Space.
Have you
I
got any other source which contradicts what I'm saying?
I simply can't believe this utter nonsense. And you're trying to show up in a public space and arguing about this space. Thank you very much. Of course, I've removed you from the chat. I have no respect for people who can't deal with facts. I can disagree with people all day long. I can disagree with people all day long on subjective evaluation. But if people are going to call white black and black white, I can't have any meaningful conversation at all. In my mind, they are, let's say, to a civil society, they are a serious problem in my mind. If people can't agree to basic facts, God knows what they'll do, with their lives. And so, Space, I really, really can't believe you've even said what you've said. Unbelievable. Now, okay, so in contrast to the fact that you could not show any statistic at all, let me come to you very simply. India is a country where many things are traditional even today. Many things are traditional. In my awareness of Indian history or present day Indian practice, I'd say perhaps 5%, maybe even less, of people actually get involved in what is called love marriages. Most Indians still get married in the traditional manner of speaking, for which they have sources of information that they access to get married. For example, a matrimonial site is a modern system. You can go through shadi.com. There are millions of profiles there. It's there. You can go through other I can't remember off the top of my head, but there are a number of other leading matrimonial sites that you can try and access today. Shadi.com is perhaps one of the most popular. They advertise even here, even in the UK, as a matter of fact. And just go through them. Most people are getting married in the traditional manner, and go through what the traditional marriages look like. Just get some awareness. It's not hard. I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure you're making things up. I'm making things up as you go along. I have reasons to suspect that you might have got wind of the fact that you are making things up as you go along, yet you did. And so I have no respect at all, Space, on this in this regard. But anyway, it's well practiced. It has tremendous negative implications on millions of people across the world. Across India, millions of people. Well, as a matter of fact, across the world too, which is just a year ago or something. In the US, there was a court case involving Cisco, the networking company employees of Indian origin, who were prosecuted and successfully prosecuted for caste-based discrimination in the US. Would you believe? Would you believe, in the US? And apparently the tactics they practiced included the fact of taking potential employees, potential recruits to on swimming excursions and stuff, and then trying to figure out if they have a thread, which is what Brahmins are supposed to have. I mean, I simply cannot believe, if someone were to deny such an obvious fact as what we are talking about, I don't know what could help you. But don't worry, you won't find people like you in India. Not many. It's only in the West that people live this deluded life where they want to advance and be ambassadors of ideas about which they have near next to no clue. So so let's not. I'm not too concerned about your ideas impacting India in this regard. Indians are really, getting an awareness of the fact that we have a serious problem at hand, and most people are aware. Although when it comes to particular situations when they have to deal with issues, they might not have the backbone to deal with them, but they are aware. Long story short, it's an evil system. You gave four castes, four varnas: Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishnavas, Shudras. What you fail to mention is that the Varnas includes a fifth one, which is unsaid, which is essentially the ones who are not covered by any of these four, which is about 20 to 30% of Indian population, which is essentially to say that, hey, 20 to 30% of India aren't even human beings. Can you imagine this ridiculous idea? So, what's it? Oh, okay. Okay, I didn't, sweetie. Anyway, okay. So, anyway, let's get let's my intention is not to provoke. My intention is to deal with the issue at hand. The issue at hand is serious. To really, again, you go there. We go. Someone who lives somewhere else, and I don't know what Simpleman has to say. Dalit is the president of Congress Party now, and BJP previously. So what? So what? Dalit was the president of the nation a long time ago. This gentleman, I forget his name. Was made the president of India a long time ago, and also, of course, just the who is the I need to check the lady president of India. Is she retired now? I can't remember. Draupadi Murmu, who is still the president of India, is from a scheduled tribe group, which is, of course, one of the most oppressed. She's only a sort of a she's only I mean, she being the president of the country doesn't have any long-lasting effect on the rest of the scheduled tribes across the world. It's just a political move, like what our friend Sunil is suggesting there. Anyway, long story short, my dear friends, I'd hope that people such as Space and anyone else would want to help us deal with caste system. We need help, but one can't help. One can't help without having a thorough idea of what the problem is. Anyway, so I do sincerely apologize, and it is massively disturbing where someone would show up to support a system which is demonstrably evil. I'll give you a few examples if you want. A few years ago, a lady not far from where I live, where my hometown is, not far from where my hometown is, who was forced to work in this family from the other caste. Normally typical villages will have two different castes, one the upper, the other lower. All the lower caste, upper class will mostly own most of the land, and the lower caste would be working caste in the land owned by the upper caste. And so essentially they'll be sort of without means of livelihood, apart from being able to work only with the upper caste families. And this is the construct of most of villages in India. If you just need to visit a few villages, and you'd be aware of this being the case. The problem very simply is, there are cases where people who are workers in this manner have been killed. There are cases where, for different reasons, not anything criminal, but well, in one of the situations, just because a lady refused to sleep with uh, uh, with her landlord, she was forced to drink something which is insane. It is it's a matter of deep shame for me, and I hope that for any Indian it would be a matter of deep shame. And until it becomes a matter of deep shame, we can't solve this issue. So maybe I'll stop that there. And we okay, unfortunately need to wrap things up here. Let me quickly bring a couple of people. Just a Life, you've been waiting for a long time. How are you doing?
Hey Arul, I'm doing good. How about you?
Yeah, by God's grace, I'm a little bit upset right now, but otherwise I'm okay.
Yeah, that's
What do you
okay.
think? Of course, you're from India. Just a
Really,
couple of quick thoughts. What do you think? Caste system is not broadly. I mean, when you get married, do you think people take into account the caste system or not? Broadly speaking,
yeah, I mean, see, I just want to be honest and true.
you
It is
just wanted
there.
to what? Absolutely. Why did this guy come and making things up as he goes along? I mean, let me ask you. I mean, in your experience, are you still based in India or are you elsewhere?
No, of course I'm from India.
You're from India. I don't know the official figures, because but I'd say in my experience, looking at hundreds of marriages, having experience, I'd suggest that maybe something like I am certainly more than 90% of marriages do take into account quite heavily caste system. And would you agree with that sort of anecdotal statistic?
Yeah, see, that way, we were also talking about, the all four castes or varnas or whatever it is. Um, I don't want to call it as higher caste or lower caste. Every caste will actually marry in in their own caste. It's not that for example, let's say a Shudra will like to get married to another Shudra. Okay, and they don't want even they are not interested to go on marry to another caste. Okay. Likewise, Brahmins, they don't want to go on, married to, any other caste. In fact, within Brahmins, there are different, sects where, they are very particular to marry within their own sects. Within Shudras also, I know very closely. I have friends, and they actually marry within, within Shudras. There are so many other sects, and they're so particular to get married in their own this one. But having said that, in terms of discrimination, it is there. I'm not, denying that. Okay, that discrimination of so-called higher caste and lower caste, which has been I feel very sad, but that is truth, which is still there. And I think there is a change happening. If you look at the urban areas, there is you don't, the matrimonial example that you actually took, if you can go and check the caste thing, in the same matrimonial thing, if you go and check now, you'll also find caste no bar. Even that is also there, so we should consider that also. So when we are talking
I mean,
about something, okay,
just to life, I'm at least happy that so far, you know, so far at least that you are willing to share what is true. What's it? Yeah. Can you please find out from Ray? Maybe not. Okay. Anyway, sorry.
that's okay.
But at least we agree on basic facts. So that's lovely. If we agree on basic facts, we can at least have a conversation. Just a life.
No, see,
Now,
truth should be agreed. For example, I have read in some books and some history. This one, there were crusades which happened. Christians actually did some crusades that killed they killed millions of people. I think that you agree it or not, but that is historical events which has happened. Likewise, other religions. I don't want to take the names. They still kill today also. Okay, so that is also evident and that is also truth. Likewise,
and
even in Hinduism also.
I can completely agree. What I can say is, in the name of Jesus Christ, terrible things have happened. I can completely agree.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to scrutinize that properly. And this is why if you this is why on Mondays we deal with Roman Catholicism and that sort of stuff. And I can completely agree, and we can engage. This is where we need to do justice. What is true, what is fact is fact, what is a historical fact is fact, and we can try and find out whether Jesus taught that and all sorts of stuff like that. But just like, thank you very much. Now, I really have very little time, but I just wanted to. I know you've been waiting for a very long time. Shadow, I really can't take you today. I'm really, really sorry. Although I'd like to have taken you on board. Billy, I think it's brother Billy. Billy, can I please take you on board also? Maybe next time. I'm a little bit unsure as to what the plan is with the atheism and agnosticism stream. It seems like Ray might want to do it, so I'm really not sure. So I need to find that out. Billy, so please, my sincere apologies. Just maybe 3 or 4 minutes before I request that we continue our conversation next week, please. So can we also say, so we agree that it is commonly practiced. I know you are saying things are changing. I would say, yeah, things are changing. I mean, of course, I can see intercaste marriages happening, casteless
Yes.
marriages. I completely, absolutely.
In my family, I would say 30% are Christians.
Mhm.
Okay. And we don't have any problem. Okay. We coexist because in the end of the day, we're human beings, we're relatives, we're just human beings. We need to coexist. And what's the point in fighting, saying that hey, you're a Christian, I let go out of this family. I cannot do that. And likewise, even they also being our relatives, they won't have any discrimination with us. So I think it's a happy family. So I don't know why some of them have problems.
I mean, I can tell you, yeah, not some. Most people have problems. Most people have problems.
Yeah, but I'm a Hindu. I mean, end of the day, I'm a Hindu and I follow certain things. But again, my way of thinking about the God, and I know you're talking about God, and I've been watching your the I don't know what you call the corner, the street talks that you have in UK. It's yeah. So it's there's certain things I know you don't have much time. Probably we can meet
Yeah, maybe
and next time and talk more in detail. Probably I'll make some notes in terms of what I agree and what I disagree and what are the common points and things like that.
Yeah, ideally we actually get into caste system maybe a couple of months from now, because I wanted to do it proper justice when we do have conversations, by going through the historic source material. Yeah,
but
go
again,
on.
what this caste system and God are two different things. Okay, you should not connect that. Okay, God connection and your caste is completely different. Caste is a man-made thing. Okay, it will continue to exist, it will reform, it will change. Okay, but about the God, about you're seeking or believing, that is different dimension. So I think we shouldn't merge them. I think once, see what is happening in India. I know that this discrimination is there. Okay, a lot of Dalits actually they get so oppressed. Their identity crises. They what happened? They'll actually go to a place where they get some good identity. Okay, a better identity, not good identity. I'll say better identity. But end of the day, they're suffering there as well. It's not that they're extremely happy and they're doing all the prayers. They give 10% of out of their income to the pastors, and they abuse the money. All that is happening. There are a lot of things that you might not know because you're not in India. Okay.
No.
Again, I'm not talking all the pastors are bad. Okay, but there is some section of pastors who are really doing bad things in the churches, and a lot of things happening. Okay, but again, that's what I'm saying. This irrespective of going to fleeing from one place to another place, but they're having the same problem there also. But again, here the core thing what we should do is we should seek God. Okay, and once you seek God, all this caste system, everything goes off.
Let me
It's
ask
a very
you this.
simple life. It's a simple life. We convolute things unnecessarily for
which form of Hinduism do you follow?
Nothing. I'm just a Hindu. There's no form.
No. Do you visit temples?
once in a while I go. It's not that I have a ritual. I go to temple. Nothing like that. Okay, so I
That's
believe
fine.
that
That's fine.
there
Do
is a
you, do
temple.
you, do you go to
There's
temple?
a temple within me that I visit.
But no, do you visit temples?
Last time I visited was some 5 years back. Yeah.
5 years ago. Okay. Okay, so maybe not the temples. Do you believe in the religious text of Mahabharata, Ramayana, and that
I
sort of
don't.
stuff?
I don't believe in any text in the world.
So, where are you
See,
from? Just a life. Are you from?
I am
Are you from
India.
Tamil Nadu?
India.
Where
No,
in
I'm
India?
from. No. I don't want to give this one.
Okay.
But I'm a South Indian. Okay, that is there.
That,
Okay.
that 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 tells a lot.
Yeah.
Tamil Nadu. You might be aware is a graveyard for North Indian Hinduism. It's a graveyard. It's a real graveyard, and this is why BJP is really struggling to gain foothold into Tamil Nadu at all. Um, they have a very different way of thinking and that sort of stuff. So, long story short, so here is where when we pick up our conversation, maybe next time, just a life. What I'd like to say is that depending on the stream of religion you follow, you'd be surprised to find out that they'll ultimately somehow depend on caste system.
I don't know. I don't know whether it is true because I actually sent a message earlier also in this chat window. I have a circle of friends. We are there are Brahmins, there are Vaishyas, there are Kshatriyas, even Shudras. You believe it or not, we'll eat in the same plate.
No,
Okay.
ignore. I mean, I'm not talking
Okay.
with you. Ignore, please.
No,
Please,
for me, I am the world for myself, right? How I see
not
things
really,
around is
not
my
really.
world.
No, just a life,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah.
70% of India are rural. 70% of India are rural.
Correct.
And
In that 70%, 60 to at least 20, 25 or 30% are Shudras, according to you.
we'll even come to that later. 70% of India are rural. Any
Mhm.
typical Indian village is of a particular nature. It's not like you, what you're suggesting. They don't go and say, "Hey, I don't care what your caste is. Let's sit down and eat
No,
together and eat each other's place." It doesn't
exactly.
happen.
Yeah.
Simply
Yeah.
it doesn't happen. And this is 70% of India right away. So you can, and then talking about remaining 30% also. That's only I was only talking about rural, and by rural, of course, I'm only talking about villages, not even the tier 2 towns and. Even though of course technically a town is a rural area, but anyway,
Sorry to jump to another this one. I have studied in a Catholic school. Okay. And being a Hindu, I was discriminated by the Catholics.
Possible. I don't know. I mean, I
Okay.
you know what?
It's not just me. It's not just me. We were very few Hindus, in that Catholic school. We were actually discriminated.
Possible.
Okay.
I'm not rejecting. It's very
Yeah.
possible. I'm not rejecting. I mean, unless someone follows Jesus Christ sincerely, you'll have trouble. But anyway, just a life. So what we can do is, do you go by the same name in the live chat? I have seen someone who shows up as Just a Life.
No.
Not
It's
you.
a different name.
Just a Life. It'll be lovely to continue our conversation. Maybe next week.
Yeah, I waited more than an hour, I guess, to talk to you. Last week also I waited. I couldn't.
I know. This is why I really wanted to, even though I've gone beyond my allotted time. It's 20 minutes for the next stream. I'm not sure what is happening in the next stream, but I still wanted to speak to you just because I saw you waiting for a very long time.
Okay, next stream is. Can I join next stream? Is that something that
next stream is on atheism, agnosticism. Although I'm not really sure right now if I am joining, because I thought it wasn't happening because my friend who's supposed to do that is not feeling great. So I was thinking that it wasn't going to happen, but somehow there seems to be a misunderstanding. So, but in any case, I don't think I'll be able to join.
Okay, fine.
Cool. Just a life. So
yeah, please go ahead.
So in any case, that's meant to be for atheists and agnostics. For you, who would identify yourself as a Hindu, there are two streams. Tomorrow is relevant. 12:30 Indian time tomorrow. We do Christianity under scrutiny. You can join and ask questions on Christianity.
Oh yeah,
and,
I do have a lot of questions about Christianity. I know few of the scriptures in I mean, although I don't when I said I don't read, I don't follow the this one. I know here and there and a little bit. I'm not as religiously ecclesiastical, or I don't know what there's a word you use. I don't read, but I've seen some of the videos where people have challenged Christianity, and I felt a few immoral parables or stories which was a little disturbing for me. Probably I can also get those
Absolutely.
checked.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Probably my interpretation was wrong. I don't know, but I'll have to get that clarified.
Please, I my personal take is the Bible is a wonderful literature I've gone through, and I critically evaluate. And I don't want to follow anything meaninglessly. Historically, it's from God. I can firmly testify for that and give information. And also, morality-wise, it's beyond reproach in my view. If the Bible isn't moral, then nothing else in the world is moral. If God, Jesus Christ, isn't moral, no one else is moral in this world at all, by a million miles. I can emphasize that, and therefore I'm willing to take your questions. Just Life, it'll be lovely to speak to you tomorrow if you're able to join. It's 8 p.m. in UK time, which is 12:30 India time, is when we start.
Okay,
if you're able to join,
I'll try. Yeah, I'll try to join tomorrow.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Thank you much.
Arul. Have a good day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Thank you much. Thank you much. Speak to you later. Bye. Brother Billy, I was just going to pray together. How are you doing?
I'm good, sir. But if there is another person who would like to join, I think it's Shadow. We'll give him time and maybe a few parting
No, he's
remarks,
not
and
here.
that's it. He's not here.
He's not here.
All right, brother. Arul, thank you very much. I just want to share my experience as an Indian. I just moved to the UK a year ago. For all of my life, for the 34 and odd years, I've lived in India, and absolutely.
You say 34 or 54?
34. Yeah. So I'm 35 years old now. I moved to the UK only a year ago. I just want to share my personal story. So I heard people saying, if you're educated, you're equal to Brahmin, knowledge is equal to. This is all, the modern form of trying to sugarcoat Hinduism and all that, just as, Muslims go on butchering people, and then they say, if you kill one man, it's like, killing the humanity and all that. Even that verse is basically borrowed from Talmud. So it's something of that sort. If they just go back and read Manusmriti, we all know how Shudras are treated in that. If someone just listens to the Vedas, lead has to be molten and then put into their ears so that they could never hear to the Vedas again. So this modern form of sugarcoating, that amazes me totally. So just my story. So I'm a medical doctor by profession. I'm an emergency physician. I studied in Christian Medical College, Vellore.
CMC Vellore.
You might be knowing CMC Vellore. Yeah, CMC Vellore. Yeah. So believe it or not, I'm talking about 2023. I had to knock 4 doors to rent a house for me and my family. And the first question that was asked is, what is your caste? Believe it or not. And since most I hail from Andhra, so nearby state. So just most people in Andhra, most Christians or kind of lower class, the 20% you are talking about, the Asprusha, the untouchables. So we were categorized as untouchables. So we belong to that community, and most Christians, even at this moment, they belong to the untouchable category. So they straight on my face rejected that I cannot have their house for rent. And I did not take my doctor card out because I just want to test those people as to what their nature is, what their attitude is with their fellow Indians. I'm not someone from Pakistan. I'm not someone from Bangladesh. I'm their very own. I belong to them.
And you have 2 eyes?
I have 2 eyes. Yeah, very much so. Very much so.
You look like a human being.
Yes. And
okay,
I never gone in with swords or anything and say, if you don't give me a house, I'm gonna do something of that sort. So the other guy, I was totally amazed when he said, casteism is something that is not happening now. Even till today, as you're saying, he knows very much that it is still happening. He just wanted to make a
I wouldn't be surprised. No, brother Billy, I wouldn't be surprised that he actually doesn't know. I think what was happening, I perceive people really sharply. I think what
Yeah.
was happening with our friend was that he's in the UK. He really
Yeah.
doesn't know what's happening there. He really doesn't know
Mm.
here in the UK and elsewhere in the US and other places also. Being a Hindu is seen as being Indian.
Yeah.
That's the idea advanced,
For most people.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
caste system and everything else goes hand in
Mm.
hand with that. And the point is they just don't know, and he knew it, and he suddenly realized, in my view, at some stage he realized that actually he doesn't know, but he still went on with it. And
Yeah.
that's a bit not fortunate. No, that's not good, but
And they come
anyway,
here. They come here
yeah.
and talk about racism when caste system is the father or grandfather of racism. In racism,
Yeah.
at least people of different race, they look different, the hair color is different, something of that sort. But
People of
caste
different
system,
areas, absolutely,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But caste system, your very own, the one, the nearby neighbor, and you literally hate them because they were born in a different family belonging to a lower caste, and which I cannot change. And they say, you can change it with your education. So there was an open challenge.
Absolutely gibberish, yeah.
There was an open
Absolutely.
challenge saying he's one of the atheists. I don't recollect his name at the back of my mind, but there are a few of the scholars like Kanchalaya and then other people. So he's not the person I'm talking to about, but he is well versed in Sanskrit, and he openly challenged saying, so if you say one who is educated in Vedas is a Brahmin, then could you allow me to become a priest in Tirupati because I know Sanskrit, I know Vedas, I'm an educated.
Well,
Now, so that's how it has to be, isn't it?
yeah,
And
I
they
mean,
got
this idea is just, I mean, they make believe various things. It's unbelievable. Caste
yeah,
system is an evil system, out and out. And you are entirely right. You're born into it. You can't leave it. And
yeah,
it clearly has nothing to do with facts on the ground at all.
yeah,
At all. It's just a system of hierarchy imposed from
yeah,
clearly centuries ago, when people clearly had access to power, and they
yeah.
imposed it once and for all, deluded the rest of the people to follow it sincerely as if it is from God. And there we go. We have it in India. Really, really.
I'm not sure whether you're following the present social media in India, but I'm following them on a daily basis. Now they're bringing the narrative saying that this caste system was imposed on us by the Britishers. The word
Oh,
caste, yeah,
I did.
they have that audacity to say that. I can't
It's
understand
like the
if they can
Muslims.
go to that extent. Yeah, it's like the Muslims.
It's
Yeah,
like the Muslims. Any problem in the world, blame the Jews. Blame the
yeah,
Jews. Blame America. Death to America.
yeah,
Shout in the streets and say death to America, and that's it. And
yeah,
this is what's happening.
yeah,
It's unbelievable. What the British, unfortunately, the British,
yeah,
when they were there, unfortunately introduced the civil law, and that's the
mm,
only problem that they introduced. And when dealing with the civil law, they had to deal with caste system in some way, shape, or form,
mm,
just to be able to administrate. Of course, foreign administrators, that's a different political issue. But to say that they therefore introduced caste system is phenomenal. I saw someone in the live chat even a few days ago who even suggested that the Portuguese introduced, because the word caste is
mm.
Portuguese. I
Caste
can't
as
believe this
Portuguese. Yeah,
absolute
yeah.
gibberish. This
Hmm. Yeah,
it is firmly in India. I can even present a history for it, and we can
yeah.
trace it to, of course, like you rightly said, to Varnashrama, Dharma.
Varnas and ways, everything is filled with it. But people just with this modern new age and all that, projecting yoga as some form of modern exercise, and then the Westerners buying it, saying, "Well, what is this wonderful thing? You can become you can become a good man. It's all about reforming yourself. Along with that, you get exercise free and all that." They're selling it under the name of yoga, but it is rotten to the core. It's rotten to the
Absolutely,
core. Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. And I'm an Indian. I'm still an Indian. And the reason that I've come to the UK is basically because I wanted to learn a bit of pre-hospital care and go back to my country, the country that God has, decided that I should be born in, and that I feel is patriotism, because my Lord Jesus Christ told me to love my neighbors, even though they hated me. What I got in India was nothing but hate, but still, the reason that missionaries came from different parts of the world is because of God's love.
Absolutely.
They left the green pasture of the West. They could have, stayed in the UK, US, and different parts of the country and then not come to India. But the reason they came, leaving everything, is to show God's love. And they have that
Absolutely.
audacity. They studied in the Christian colleges, Christian schools, and now it is the same colleges they want to kind of, ban, and then they want to kind of, talk about derogatory comments and all that. It's such a shame on these people. They should be ashamed of themselves, especially when they talk outright blatant lies.
Yeah, absolutely. But through God, like you rightly said, I mean, it's through God's grace we have to deal with it. We have to solve the issues.
Yeah,
Millions are suffering, and the suffering ones don't have a voice.
yes,
At least in your
yes.
case, you've come up in life, and therefore you can speak right now.
And that's the reason I feel that is the reason that God chooses people. And if I'm quiet, I'm the voice of those suppressed millions who do not have a voice. We
Absolutely.
were bought from education. People were called Devadasis. Our own people, they've termed Devadasis. They should be in the temple, and they were used as temple prostitutes, and they say they are serving God. What utter ridiculous. And it is for those people. A lady from UK, Amy Carmichael, she came to Donover, and then she was called Amma. Why did she come if everyone was happy with that? Come on, these people, they know that they say BOP in India, no? This is BOP of racism. The caste system is BOP of racism. And they complain here and come here and complain about, we as Indians are discriminated and all that. Come on, give me a break, man. You've done enough.
Yes. Through God's grace, brother. It's lovely, of course, hearing from you. Through God's grace, it'll be lovely for our nation to change.
Yes. We will pray for India. We have to pray, and in whatever capacity, we will. I
must also quickly even make this point extremely clear, which is that as much as I'd like to say that Christians are better, I think, I don't know the percentage again, but I think there is a huge percent of Christians who are also practicing caste system, which is
yes,
ridiculous.
Yes, brother. Yeah.
And it's ridiculous, and this is where leadership are really, really rotten to the core, in my view, in many places. And so we have even among the Christian community, it's a massive issue we have to deal with. It's unbelievable. It's against Jesus Christ, our precious Lord, fundamentally. But anyway, on that note, maybe we'll wrap up, Brother Billy. Could you please pray for us, and we'll wrap it up there?
Yes, brother. I'll be in whenever I get time. I'll try to engage in the comments. You don't have to give me time. Maybe as parting remarks, I might have kind of something to share with. But if there are other people that you want to engage, I'm more than happy to give them the chance, brother Arul. Next time, I'm just saying, I'll be there in the chat. Yeah. I can mute my thing, and then if there is something that I can add, if that makes sense, then I'm happy to do that.
Sure. Please pray, and then we'll take. Yep.
Dear loving Lord Jesus Christ. Yes, dear loving Lord Jesus Christ. Thank you very much for giving us this wonderful opportunity, and thank you for Brother Arul and his team. Lord, thank you for the love that you have put in their hearts and in our hearts for our fellow brethren. Lord, as they are preaching your word, Lord, make it as an eye-opener to those people who are living in this darkness, the darkness of sin. Lord, you are the light, and you alone are the way. Let everyone know about that. And then, Lord, let everyone come to you and then accept that you are their personal Savior. We pray this prayer in the highly exalted name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you much, Brother Billy. Syed, we can't take you today. You should come back on Wednesday or Friday. Brother Billy, lovely speaking to you.
Thank you, brother. Please, I can get in touch with you if you can send me some information. I can kind of,
Yeah, please,
pass
if
on
you
my.
email me on the email that's showing up, or if you just remain here,
Yeah,
as
I'll
we
remain.
go.
I'll remain. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. But all non-Christians who are on the live chat, lovely speaking to every one of you. God's richest blessings to you. You are our friends. You're not our enemies. Our enemies, our problem is with ideologies, not with people. And so we really want to bless you all in the name of Jesus Christ, in the precious name of Jesus Christ. We love you, and we'd like to engage in meaningful conversations in a friendly manner, like today, in the future too. Please, God's blessings to you all, and of course all the Christian brothers and sisters on the chat. Thank you very much for your love and support. Speak to you later. Bye bye.